performance against the Habs.
Yeah, I thought he was tremendous. I think any goalie doesn't want to give up 3 in the first period, but given the way we were playing and what we were giving up, I thought that was great. He kept it at that, honestly. He kept us in the game. And, just working and competing all night is what I noticed from him. He's just always ready for the next shot and just ready for that next sequence.
You set a career high in terms of starts in the season tonight. What do you notice about him off the ice? How he takes care of his body? How he keeps himself ready for the increased workload this year?
Yeah, very meticulous. He's a detailed guy, mature guy. Kind of like I was just talking about. He's ready for that next shot. He's ready for that next opportunity. And he's just hungry, and he's always doing the right things in the gym. He's taking care of himself. So I love everything about Waller's game, and our goaltenders have been carrying us a lot this year.
What's it like when you switch sides in the middle of the season like this for you?
I think it's just, for me, when I play on my right offside, it's just a little bit more scanning and making sure I know what's coming behind me before I get the puck and making good puck decisions and communicating with me and Mo. So I think it's nothing too crazy. I've played enough on the right side now, but that's at least what I tell myself. Just kind of scanning this a little bit more before I get the puck.
I see you've played a ton with Morgan. Like, what stands out about him as a partner and how you guys can maybe match?
Yeah, no, I mean, always his whole career, just a tremendous ability to be able to move up into plays and find the soft areas and the second attack and second layers and be an option for our forwards on the weak side of the ice on breakout or whatever it may be with the skating ability and getting pucks through. So I'm just we're excited to play together and just, like I said, have good communication and break up pucks and get going either way.
What's it take to slow down Kucherov like you've been up against in this match?
Yeah, obviously, the catch line is a takeaway time and space, which is important. But for a guy like him, he's so talented. It seems like he always knows where his options are. So you got to be really aware of, before you go away to take his time and space to leave in the middle of the ice. So you have that covered off, whether it's his centerman sitting there waiting for a pop play or he can make plays on his forehand, backhand, right off the wall. So you just got to be aware of what's away from him that he's looking to set up.
Jake McCabe talking first about Wall and then drifting into other topics as the question sort of drove him there. He's playing with Riley tonight, Jake McCabe. Myers, who was in that spot, is not playing tonight. He was an extra at game day skate with Hakanpää. And I guess that, the Wall situation is interesting to me, Stu, just because we didn't know how many games he could play. And the same was said about Stolars. I mean, obviously the liability is they haven't played that much as number ones because they've never been number ones. And through injury and I guess absence of their support partners, they've been able to develop on their own into number one goalies, both of them.
Yeah, well, the saying is every professional was once an amateur, right? So every starter was once a backup, and you have to work your way up there. And they think the same thing with talking about Wall. Like, he hasn't been in the league 10 years. He came in first getting games in 21, 22. So 25 starts last year, 24 now. He's going to tie his career high essentially tonight. I think he's shown that he probably can be a number one guy. And I think he was there last year. If he probably had 3-4 starts before that injury that took him out for a while, he is a number one goaltender in the National Hockey League. But the best ability, especially amongst goalies, is availability. And I think the fact that Stolars has been injured and the Matt Murray situation sort of compounds sort of the fear amongst fans and ultimately the organization is like, hey, do we have to manage his minutes? We have to find a way just to sort of, ease him in. But again, the way that he played against Montreal, if there's any sign of wear and tear or him, necessarily not ready for the moment, he easily could have packed it in. And that would have been a 6-7-0 loss. And they probably pulled him going into the third period. But he's a competitor. He's big. He's strong. He competes. He moves really, really well for a guy with size as well. And I'm a big fan of his game. And I think he's one of the top goalies in the National Hockey League as of now. Absolutely.
I just want to sort of veer out of this game and mention that Connor McDavid was suspended 3 games and Tyler Myers 3 games for shots to the head by both of those guys to opposing players in the same game at the end of the game.
That's hockey. Now you got to protect yourself. And, again, we almost forget that it is a contact sport, and yes, you don't want to see guys getting hurt. And but I think for Connor McDavid, right, some guys take liberties. He's one of the fastest players in the league. They can't slow him down, so sometimes you got to get in his way and take a little bit extra out of him. And he's going to snap here and there. So 3 games, I got to go back and look at it. I was expecting maybe 1-2 max, but again, they're trying to send a message, I guess, with some of these cross checks because you get in the teeth or you get in the eyes, like that can cut your face up pretty good. And I'm sure they don't want those hits in today's game.
Well, and I guess the sort of the thing that cancels it out is both happened within seconds of each other in the same game, and so whatever you do for one, you have to do for the other. Yeah,
what's the saying in the world of cross checks? Everyone has no head. I don't know.
Well, I've always boiled it down this way. There are certain players that are going to do things on the ice, and they're telling you that they've been fouled.
Yeah.
And so when Connor McDavid does that, obviously there should be zero tolerance, but some of it is justified frustration, if I could put it that way.
It is, and it brings me back to Austin Matthews cross-checking Darlene, right? Yeah. I think that was last year or the season before that, too. And
yes.
Sometimes they do get frustrated, and it's funny because
that one was return fire.
Yes, in football and basketball, they go above and beyond to protect the stars, right? Not saying they have a different set of rules, but there's rules in place that sort of isolate them and keep them from harm's way. But it's part of the game. It's physical, and I'm sure next time Garland's in that same situation, he's probably going to do something differently. And he sent his message, and well received. It's going to cost a lot of money, but going to a good cause. And again, it happens. So it's nothing that I'm overly concerned with. I'm sure the fans of Edmonton are pretty upset about it, but in the game of hockey, I'm like, I got cross-checked on the GO train coming over here. It happens.
Sorry to hear that, and I don't know where the penalty box is in the GO train, but when you find it, let me know.
Okay.
So I've got some people that should visit that. The one other thing that we could deal with for the Leafs is Austin Matthews. The shot is back, isn't it?
It's deadly. Going back to a couple of years ago, I talked about his wrist shot being the best release of all time, and Mike Modano came and he said, "Easy, Stu, easy, Stu." I don't think he's easy stewing me anymore because just that release and how he changes the angle. And what impresses me, Ottinger made him look like a rookie goaltender. Markstrom, who's 6'6", made him look like a 5'5" goaltender. Just how it's deadly. It's a rocket, and just finding that small little pocket that's open. If I'm goaltenders, they almost look like they're ducking out of the way. So the fact that he gets it off so quickly and changes the angle with no time and space, it's one of the best releases of all time. And whatever's ailing him, it's not ailing the shot. No. And it's even the one-timer he had against Montreal, that was from distance. So, he's got one of the best releases of all time, and that's not just me, sitting in Toronto saying that. That's me, the National Hockey League player that played with the Kovalchuks and the Eric Stahls, and guys that had the big bombs. That release, from what I've seen in person, it's definitely amongst the best of all time.
Here's Matthew Nyes on Austin Matthews finding his shot.
It gives all of us confidence. I think everything that's touching right now is going in, so we just want to keep that going, and I'm sure he does too. And it's been huge for our team. It's helped us a lot. Obviously, tying the game against New Jersey, and he's pretty important to this team.
What stood out about Joseph's night in Montreal?
Let's say it again.
Wool's night in Montreal. What stood out about his performance?
Yeah, really good. That's a pretty hectic atmosphere to be in. It was very loud, and so he stood tall for us, and I think he played really well and kept us in it all game.
Ottinger was calling him the perfect human after before the game the other week because of how he takes care of himself off the ice. He's playing career high tonight in terms of his 24th start. What do you notice about how he takes care of himself off the ice to prepare himself for that?
Yeah, I think he's pretty determined off the ice, just to keep himself healthy and keep himself as high in performance as he possibly can. He's been really good, and I'm excited to see him do this tonight.
What says about Minton and how he's come back this year? What he can maybe help if assuming he's back in tonight?
Yeah, he's been huge for us. Every time he's called upon, he's done the job. He's a guy we can trust in all 3 zones, and so we'd be excited to have him back. He's an important part, and he can really help us win.
What does McCabe bring as a leader on the team? How would you describe his leadership?
Yeah, I think he's vocal. Obviously, a veteran guy, a lot of experience. So someone I look up to and can take note of, and he means a lot to this locker room. You can really feel his presence when he's on the ice, and you feel comfortable with those 2 guys, him and Tanny on the ice. It's been wonderful to watch him play.
Matthew Nyes talking about Matthews finding the shot. I mean, one thing is for sure, the accuracy is there. Pinpoint.
It is. And I had to look up and to put things in perspective here. And, there's a lot of great players, in today's game. When we talk about generational talents and, there's the Nylanders, Tavares, and the Marners who are having great seasons. But you put it in perspective where Austin Matthews is his all-time goals per game. He is 5th all-time below Bossy Lemieux. And he's got more goals per game than Bure, Gretzky, and Ovechkin. So you put that in perspective on just the greatness and what we're witnessing. It's definitely very, very impressive. And that sort of gets buried beneath or pushed aside with all the other storylines that's throughout the league. So health is obviously going to be a factor. The want to do it is going to be another factor. But him scoring goals at will and being one of the best of all time, we're witnessing history and him on track for history. So let's just hope he stays healthy and stays in Toronto because, he's scoring a lot of goals. And we're looking at these banners here. It's just a matter of time before, you're going to see 34 hanging up here.
Yeah, well, so just a couple of seconds here. What do you expect to see tonight?
Toronto starting on time. I'm sure they do not want to give up a 2-3-0 lead to Tampa Bay Lightning, who have some offensive juggernauts with 4 guys with more than 20 goals. Stay out of the penalty box. Kucherov and Point, they can hurt you. And, you want to get that everlasting first goal.
We'll see.
We shall.
We're going to set up the opening face-off for you in greater detail next. This is Leafs Game Night live from Scotiabank Arena at TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
At last, the Subaru winter is here. It's the perfect weather for the beach. Feel the sun's rays on the small amount of skin peeking out of your ski mask. Put on your beach puffer and hear the sound of the waves crashing over the chatter of your teeth. Get out there in winter like it's summer with standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and advanced safety systems. Visit your local Subaru dealer today.
This is a message from United Way to a Jesse M. of Mississauga. Hello, Jesse. You might be wondering why we made an ad specifically for you. Because, Jesse, you see, we're fighting poverty any way we can. Even cold calling a complete stranger over the radio. Bold, isn't it? Together, we can make sure everyone has what they need, like food, housing, good jobs, and mental health supports. Join people like Jesse to build a better GTA. Donate today at unitedwaygt.org. Thanks, Jesse.
This is the sound of medicine. When you stay at a Ronald McDonald House, close to your sick child, family is medicine. And right now, it's helping Ryan battle leukemia. We need your help to keep families together. Please donate today at rmhc.ca.
Tough start in Montreal, but boy, what a comeback. The Leafs now on a 2-game winning streak, and they can thank everybody. Star players did it against Jersey last Thursday, and it was a bit of everybody Saturday night in Montreal, and that includes goalie Wall. Another big test here tonight with Tampa visiting. How will this turn out? Well, let's find out. Molson Canadian Leafs hockey starts now.
It's time for Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Welcome inside Scotiabank Arena. Jim Taddy and former NHLer Anthony Stewart with you. And the Leafs starting lineup will go like this. Matthews between Marner and Nyes. Holmberg centering Nylander and McMahon. Fraser Minton in tonight centering Robertson and Domi. Camp centering Dewar and Lorenz. Pacioretty is injured. Reeves is out on the blue line. The pairings are Morgan Rielly, Jake McCabe, OEL, Tanev, Simon Benoit and Connor Timmins, and Myers is out in the goaltender to start as Wall. What do you make of all that, Stu?
Yeah, interesting to see Fraser Minton and how he does in his second stint in the NHL this season. He did have 4 points in 11 games earlier. And again, I think they need a little bit more from Max Domi, and who filled in as a second-line center. And John Tavares is absent with injury, and they're definitely missing Tavares' 20 goals. But Domi's been doing good in facilitating the puck. He does have 3 assists his last 5 games, and Nick Robertson, who's got 8 goals this year. I'm really looking to that third line to try to take advantage of the lack of depth I think the Tampa Bay Lightning have too. But again, I think this team's riding high on the play of Austin Matthews, Mitch Martin, and William Nylander, who have the abilities, have shown recently that they can take over the games to a whole other level. It's electrifying, and I'm happy I have I don't think it's a first-class seat. I'm kind of high up here, but to watch it live and the level that they're playing, and it's definitely a treat to be a part of it and calling it. McMahon's playing great as well.
Yeah.
Nyes is getting to the net, and it's good to see Benoit draw back in and see how he does after sitting a game or two.
Well, one more goal-scoring question before we flip to the other side of the coin. When you look at the Tampa lineup, Point, 27 goals. Kucherov on the right side, 21. Gensel on the left side, 23. Second line, Cirelli, 18. Paul on the right side, 11. Hagel on the other side, 20. That's pretty deep scoring. I mean, those top 6 are pretty tough.
Yes, and again, they play a tight structure too, but they don't cheat the game, but they have some natural guys. And Gensel's a guy that if I'm Toronto, I'm really circling and really taking his time and space away. We know what Kucherov can do, so you got to stay out of the penalty box because that power play, it's 4th right now, but from a talent perspective, more talented than Toronto, I'll tell you that. And they're probably the best power play in the league, regardless of what the stats say. So Craig Berube is probably just putting discipline. We're not giving them 5-6 power plays tonight because they can execute. So high offense octane, but I think they could take advantage of Johansson, who's only got 10 starts this year. So the key for them, I would say, get on him early often. Try to get 10, 12 shots in the first 10, 15 minutes. And if you get a power play, see if you can capitalize early and then try to ride the game, not chase the game.
Tonight's Coach's Comment is powered by your Ontario Honda dealers. Up your game. Lease the CR-V from 2.99% up to 36 months. Visit HondaOntario.com. Here's Coach Berube on assessing his team's balance.
Where do you feel that process is at right now?
I think it's going. I think there's ebbs and flows throughout the year where you're giving up too much. You're not scoring enough. We want to find that balance. And, I think our guys are... I think we're in a pretty good spot we're at a good spot right now with the balance. We got to defend well, and we got to make sure that we're playing smart hockey with the puck. Puck management for me is most everything, like not making risky plays all the time and turning pucks over. And we've been doing a good job of that. I've been happy with our team with the directness of how they play. And it's a new way for them to try to figure out to score goals, and that's our job as coaches to help them. But I feel our scoring is starting to come up a little bit with our ozone play and our rush play. So we just got to keep building on that, but we can't lose our identity of what we want to be. We want to be a hard team to play against defensively and do a good job of not giving up inner slot chances and things like that. So we got to stay on that, but we're in a good spot, but there's improvement. We got to still keep improving and getting better, and that's the focus.
How much do you talk to the medical staff and the sports science staff when it comes to Wohl's workload and whether or not how hard you can ride him?
Quite a bit, actually. And the goalie coach, obviously, where he's at, and he's played a lot of games. He's played this, going into playing the most games he's played. But, he feels like he's in a good spot. And a lot of it is how the goalie feels and how he's looking in practice and things like that. So, we just got to manage it here and manage the practice with him, too. He's a hard-working guy, and he puts a lot into his game with preparation and practice and all that. And sometimes you got to pull those guys back a little bit. So we need him in the games.
It's a tough league for coaches, tough league to have longevity. What stands out to you about your opposite tonight and how he's
he's done a hell of a job, Coop. We all know that. He's a great coach. I think Coop is very good at the mental side of things with his players, and I think he does a real good job of keeping everybody motivated. not changing his style year to year, but just tweaking a little bit and giving him a little bit more life and a little bit into something new. And I think he does a great job with that side of things as a coach, and he's got good relationships with everybody over there, and that's really important because that's how you last a lot longer. But he's there because he's successful every year. That's why he's there, to be honest with you. I think that's what it boils down to for the most part. But he's a great coach. Obviously, we all know that. And I know Coop personally and really enjoyed being around him. And it's always a challenge with his teams.
What's the biggest challenge you see? You've gotten them the first 2 times.
This team, well, we all know they could score goals, but they defend hard, and their goalie's very good, but they compete. This team's a competitive team. They win a lot of battles. They win a lot of puck battles. That sticks out to me more than anything. I get they got high-end players, and they can make plays, but it's the battle level and the effort that they put in every shift for me.
Your predecessor spent a lot of time trying to figure out William Nylander, and I'm not sure they ever sort of exactly got there. Where are you with that when you see like the last 2 games and then you see maybe the 5 before that? Where are you at in terms of trying to figure out who he is and what he is?
That's a tough question. A lot of conversations with Willie, which I enjoy. Great guy to talk to and listen to him. And, I think more than anything is like, I always, want Willie to open up to me and tell me what he's feeling and what he thinks about the game and what we can do better and things like that. He's got a lot of great ideas. Now, I may not agree with them all, but I want to hear them because there's something there that I might learn. These guys are smart guys and smart players. So, Willie's, it's a challenge like any player.
Craig Berube, I just want to continue that thought, Stu. Nylander may sort of represent the other core players offensively as well as that. It just seems like there's enough scar tissue there that they're ready to take a stand in a playoff series. Would you agree with that?
I would say so, right? And, there's different motivations in today's hockey, right? There's money, right? There's fame, there's contract status, and they all have that, right? They all have that. They all have their job security. They all have the accolades. They're media darlings. And the one thing that they are missing is that successful and that elusive Stanley Cup champion. And there's 4 or 5 guys that are on this roster that can, you see these banners here, that could be here if they win a cup or 2. And I think they understand how important that is to the city. And I could see that being a goal. So with William Nylander, you do the math. He did struggle for 4 or 5 games. He's 1 goal out of the top 10. And, he can now put together 2-3 games where I would not be surprised to see him amongst the top 5 in a week or 2. So yes, some guys are streaky, some guys are hot and cold, but when called upon, most of the time the go-to guys are the go-to guys when it matters.
The other part of this game that we haven't really dealt with is the defensive structure on both teams. I mean, when you look at these line matchups, there's a lot of canceling out that's going to go on, isn't there?
Yes, and you talked about the depth, but Nick Paul is a guy that plays big both sides of the puck. Geeky 6'4", Ferguson 6'3". So these guys are big. They play the game the right way. But the adjective that best describes this Tampa Bay Lightning team, they're a hard-working, competitive team. And when you have that talent, that's what makes them perennial Stanley Cup favorites and contenders because they play the game the right way most of the time for 60 minutes.
Depth up front and on the blue line, Hedman and Ryan McDonough on that left side are really difficult guys to deal with.
Yeah, I saw Hedman in person one time and, recently, and I actually ran around the corner. That's how big he is. And for him to play at such a high level when he was in the league when I was there just shows he's a Hall of Fame defender as well, too. And it's funny, we haven't talked about it. 30 minutes, we haven't talked about him once. He is a big player that can impact the game on both ends of the puck.
Okay, so you're looking for, I guess, a slow start by both teams in terms of scoring?
I predict one's coming in the first 5 minutes here, and I can see Toronto getting it. I think they're coming shot out of a cannon here, getting on the forecheck and testing Johansson early and often.
Okay, that means the opening faceoff is next. Todd Crocker will have the call tonight, replacing Joe Bowen, who has the night off, and Jimmy Ralph alongside as per usual. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
VSiN, The Sports Betting Network is back on SiriusXM. Go to channel 158 for informed wagering and fantasy advice from familiar voices like Gil Alexander, Paulie Howard, and Mitch Moss. Plus, SiriusXM mainstays Adam Shine, Rich Gannon, and the guru, John Hansen. We're getting you ready for the upcoming games with a finger on the pulse of the latest news and the moving lines and odds. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, is now on SiriusXM 158 and on the SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
I think general managers must sit back in their chairs, Gord, and they must say, okay, if we make a coaching change here, chances are that at least for 10 games, we're more than competitive, and we're probably going to win much more than we lose.
Coaches are probably yelling an expletive, right? About, whatever, how that particular trend is going. So you're right. So far, it's like perfect.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stiller. Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. Hockey 24/7 on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio.
Playing in the Four Nations face-off for Team USA, Connor Hellebuck.
How do you feel about getting a chance to play for USA?
The type of hockey it's going to be fun. There's going to be some high-pressure games. You're going to be putting your country's jersey on. You're representing your country. I think we're going to have a great fan base around us. And I'm really looking forward to what it brings.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. The UEFA Champions League is back on SiriusXM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on SiriusXM FC 157 and the all-new SiriusXM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Avalanche general manager Chris McFarland. What went in to maybe change that duo in goal?
With the work of our scout, Wedgwood's experience, he was a veteran guy. He's been through the grind. We were very bullish on McKenzie, and when the opportunity came to add him, we just felt it was the right move for us, long term.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Devils head coach Sheldon Keefe, you decided to jump right back into it.
New Jersey Devils reached out really within an hour or so of the news coming out of him being let go. And the more I got to know Tom and his vision for the team and seeing the situation, it was a tremendous opportunity that I couldn't let pass by.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. From in the crease to in the locker room.
Four Nations Team Canada face-off associate GM Jim Nill. You as a manager view goaltending going into the tournament in February.
We're talking about two of the guys that won Stanley Cups and play in those type of pressure games. That's a pretty good resume to have. So we're pretty confident with it and pretty confident with the team that we're going to have playing in front of them.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app.
Ray Hudson here with an important announcement. You can listen to your favourite SiriusXM FC shows on the all-new SiriusXM app, now available for all subscribers.
Well, this is a little bit different than the Utica Professional Broadcasters Lounge in Utica, New York. I'm Todd Crocker, voice of the Toronto Marlies, with Jim Ralph, and here at Scotiabank Arena, the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Looking forward to this one as the starting lineup is brought to you by Molson, the official beer sponsor of the Toronto Maple Leafs. As the Lightning will go with Nick Paul, Brandon Hagel, Anthony Cirelli, Victor Hedman, and Darren Radish. Jonas Johansson in goal, and the Leafs start with Pontus Holmberg, Bobby McMahon, and William Nylander, Morgan Riley, Jake McCabe on defense, and Joseph Wall in goal. I know some of these guys already, so I got a slight advantage.
Boy, the American League, I have no idea what that's like. Well, I have no idea how to get to hear from the American League, I guess I would say.
Well, I've only got a couple of them in the pocket already, but now that I'm here, I got to tell you, it seems like there's more folks in the stands. That's for sure. Play on the ice is underway as Nikita Kucherov moves it across the ice and right back, cut off. Here's Austin Matthews across the line, but it wanders on him just a little bit, and they put it behind the goal and back out. A little surprise, perhaps, that Vasilevsky not in goal. They move it back out. Great opportunity, but it's off a foot and back across the blue line come the Leafs. In across the line. Marner out of the corner, centers it, and it skims by the blue paint. Down for Marner again, turning on it, Matthews with a shot and another one from Nyes. Back into the corner it goes, and the Lightning able to get on top of it. Hang on and step out. Looking for options, but they're also trying to make a change. Into the corner. Benoit back into the lineup as Domi works it off the wall in center ice, and then hard in and then up over the snowbank as the Leafs and Lightning underway here on a Monday night.
Well, I guess one of the reasons, Todd, Andrei Vasilevsky, I mean, you would think where Tampa is in the standings right now, and they're not out of the woods. They're only a point ahead of the Ottawa Senators and 3 up in the Montreal Canadiens and Boston Bruins. But earlier this year, in 2 starts against the Leafs, he only got through the first game, 5.61 goals against average in the 2 games against the Leafs, and was pulled in the second period of their loss here in Toronto.
That's playing the odds. That's what that is. That's Vegas-style odds, I got to tell you. People work on that stuff. Looking up ice. Domi gets a little touch on it, but that one ends up as a souvenir.
Now, Jonas Johansson getting the start. Austin Matthews had a hat trick the first time they played against each other. Johansson was in goal for the Colorado Avalanche. December 1st, 2021. Nazem Kadri had 2 goals for Colorado, but Matthews led the Leafs to an 8-3 win with a 3-goal game.
That's in the long ago past in the world of hockey.
2021, I know, isn't it?
Anything that happened last week is history, and everything that happened before is an eon ago after that. You got to have a short memory. But it's not that you forget it. I think if you're a goaltender, you know exactly who's had success. You would know better.
My memory's not that good now.
This one pops across the line on the far side, deep into the corner. Lightning working on it, but the Leafs are able to take it away as they move up the left side and across the blue line. Atkinson decides to move it back to his defenseman, who brings it up to the red line and pops it in. The Lightning going to make a change. The Leafs will offer the same opportunity. Waiting to step out, and now they do. Matthews through the middle as he lifts it down to the end boards, far corner. A couple of pokes at it. Matthews still there, waiting for it to come loose from Nyes, but it is flipped back the other way. It rides a bit of an edge and then saucers down, and Tanev just slowed down enough to get the whistle.
Yeah, Nick Paul doesn't seem to be in agreement. He was on the heels of Tanev, but they do get the face-off back into the Tampa zone. And for the Leafs, I think a pretty good start for Toronto. The first 2 shots on goal of the game. Austin Matthews almost capitalizing after a turnover by Nikita Kucherov.
Now the thing is, you got to come back with the same pace you left with. You don't want to start the game the same way you may have started in Montreal the other night. Holmberg keeps that one in. No, he does not.
That Leafs are lucky that's not going to be a rule to deliver it offside and back into their own zone. It was one of those. Mike Babcock always had the line, start on time. We got to start on time. And that didn't happen in Montreal. But to show you what a wonderful game this is, the Leafs in Carolina a couple of weeks ago, 2-0 lead in the first 12 minutes, plus Nylander hit a goal post and missed a breakaway. It could have been 4 or 5-0. But then the game flips on its ear and Carolina wins. And then the opposite happens, down 3-0 to Montreal. Leafs score the next 7. So
it's a pretty satisfying fan game. There's lots to pick up later in the game, but that first little bit, that always will weigh on a coach over the course of time. Side of the goal, Joe Woll decides to throw the paw on that one and hang on. not 4 minutes into this first period. Good opportunity for Joe Wall to amass some minutes as well over the course of the injury to Anthony Stolarz. And
Dennis Hildeby's still going to get some looks before Stolarz comes back as well. Tampa comes into this game on a 5-1-1 streak in the last 7.
You knew that at some point they were going to catch a little bit throughout this season and go on a series of runs. This is one of them. It's round behind the goal. It comes. Snapped up through the middle. Here's Matthews with a step to the forehand. Score! Punches it to the back of the goal. And the Leafs go up 1-0. 4 minutes, 7 seconds in.
Lightning defenseman Maxwell Crozier made the decision to stand up on Matthew Knies at center. And Knies simply redirects it to the middle of the ice where Austin Matthews skates into it. It's a 2-on-1, but Matthews is thinking shot all the way. And from the left wing side, he goes 5-hole. We mentioned he's had success against Johansson, and I don't recall exactly if one of those goals went 5-hole, but it looked like Matthews all the way was looking along the ice.
Well, the Leafs jump early in this one. Pick up right where they left off. There's another opportunity. Nick Robertson puts it on goal, and it's turned away by Johansson. Right back the other direction, down below the line. Behind Wall, it'll be picked up by Domi. Ahead for Fraser Minton, who gets into the lineup for Craig Berube. Centered back out and a misfire. As it rolls down into the far corner, kicked out of there and grabbed up by Simon Benoit. Back the other way it comes, and a little stumble there by Johansson as he plays the puck and moves it over to the far side. Comes back to Darren Radish, who lifts it in. Far corner, slides onto a backhand, and now it's pinned into the corner and lifted out of there. Right back. Connor Dewar couldn't get a hold of it to move it. And now Riley got across the line, and it awkwardly goes offside as Lorentz was caught inside the zone.
So with Austin Matthews head against Jonas Johansson, 6 games, 6 goals. Now, and even when a couple of games ago when the Leafs beat the New Jersey Devils, I think it's 21 career games against the Devils and 21 career goals for Austin Matthews. So, I mean, you see that whether it's Kucherov, Ovechkin, Malkin, you look at their numbers against the Leafs, they're all ridiculous.
There's always some spot that you like to have a little bit of success. McCabe moves this one over. Riley looks, takes the shot. He sends it on the far right of the goal. Stepping all the way back. Leafs will calm this one down in their own zone. And now Riley at the red line sends it in from the near side. It travels along the boards and round behind the goal it comes. Picked up out of the corner and sent out. Here's Braden Point stretching out down the right wing. On the shot, but decided to take it back up high to the blue line. Turns around one more time. Off the wall, Kucherov. Up high, it comes off a skate down toward the goal, and a nice easy pickup by Joseph Wall.
I'll tell you, even the Leafs have handled the Tampa Bay Lightning this year, but if you look at that lineup, there is so much depth. And I would put their top 2 lines against any top 2 lines in the National Hockey League right now. In fact, right now, Brandon Hagel has the most goals this season without a power play goal. He's got 20 goals, 2 of them shorthanded. So there's a guy that's not feeding off the power play. Tampa's also the only team with 4 20-goal scorers in the league. Nobody has 3, and Tampa has 4.
Well, there's an odd little moment there, and somebody doesn't have a power play goal over the course of a season, especially when they find a way to put it into the goal. Icing called here. They'll bring it all the way back. Somebody, when they have so much success otherwise, you just wonder why in the world having extra space is a problem for them. But
and then you got Patrick Laine, who's got 11 goals on the year. 10 of them, well, I guess now 12 with the overtime winner last night. 10 of the 12 are on the power play.
Yeah, that one is a little more explainable. Long, hard shot there that comes from Victor Hedman. Out of the corner, pops along the far wall. Trying to pick it up, loose out front. Great opportunity with some real estate, but it closes in as Connor Timmins got in front of it. Benoit trying to throw a stick waggle to it. Hedman again with a shot, but it comes off blocked, and now up along for Bobby McMahon, and he puts it off the right pad of Johansson as they come back the other way. They don't like how that got across the line.
Well, that all starts with a shot block, and then Willie Nylander finds McMahon through the skates of Victor Hedman, and McMahon says, well, Austin Matthews did it this way. He tries to go 5-hole, but this time Johansson gets a pad down.
It's 1-0 Leafs. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network.
Let the games begin. On Sirius XM, you get all the sports play-by-play you want and all the live sports talk you need. It's always a home game when you listen to the NFL, NHL, NBA, and MLB on the all-new Sirius XM app. How good is that? We fuel your fandom with NASCAR, the biggest college games, PGA, and soccer. And when news breaks, hear instant reaction.
We got a big developing story out of Cincinnati.
The Sirius XM app. Everything a sports fan needs, all in one place. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Devils head coach Sheldon Keefe, you decided to jump right back into it.
New Jersey Devils reached out really within an hour or so of the news coming out of him being let go. And the more I got to know Tom and his vision for the team and seeing the situation, it was a tremendous opportunity that I couldn't let pass by.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick.
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Just cleaning up the ice. The last of the shovels doing the work as the Leafs a 1-0 lead. 4:06 the time of the goal. Matthews from Nyes and Ekman Larson. This face-off is brought to you by Alpine Credits. If you own your own home and need a loan, Alpine Credits can help. Get approved at alpinecredits.ca. Fraser Minton in the circle. That backs up and out as Max Domi will step in to handle the work. Opposite Luke Glendening as it comes back to Morgan Riley. Long shot as McCabe lifts one to the goal, but off into the corner it comes. Far side. Peeled out of there. Ryan McDonough tried to move it, and they get it up to the blue line, but it'll take Cirelli picking it up and sending it in, and a change for the Lightning. Right back down for Domi. Lifts it in. Robertson tried to get after it. It comes back to Domi. Had it on the forehand. Then he saw some help coming from the bench. Out front. Sitting there. Tantalizing on the pads, but just cannot find a way is Robertson to knock it in. All the fans could just see that puck waiting to find a Leaf stick. Back in it comes to the Leaf zone. Benoit. Out of the corner it comes and out into center ice. Nyes fights for it. He gets a little tap along, but it finds its way to the Tampa defense. At the blue line, the Leafs turn it away. Puck finds a way in by about 4 feet, and Matthew Nyes is able to locate it. Back up through the middle, Marner. Quick over for Nyes as he carries it along the near side boards and sends it far side. This one just didn't have enough mustard on it to get back to Marner. back the other way. The crowd grumbles about a penalty that does not get called as Marner works his way in. All alone, he decides to send it in on the backhand, and the Leafs make the change. Johansson lifts it up along the glass and back to his winger. They'll play it along to Radish and through the middle. He can't get it any further before Riley is able to send it right back into the Tampa zone. Radish again will try. He's got some help up there in center ice, and the cross ice pass, a good one, back over out front, and unable to connect on the opportunity. The Lightning getting a good chance there, but just can't finish out on the play. 9 minutes in to the first period. Holmberg. Now a little disconnectivity going on here in the first period as some crispness trying to find its way into the game. The puck finds its way to Holmberg as McMahon patrols out front and then comes down into the near side corner. A little dig one way and a dig the other, and it comes loose for Tampa, but McMahon relentless to it. Up into the corner as they take it away. Looking for options up front. Snapped a good clean pass and across the line. Eyssimont has that ripped from him, and the Leafs are able to get it to William Nylander. He works back through the middle, protecting the puck. At the blue line, goes cross ice. Does that stay in? They decide it does not. Hardly matters as the Lightning are able to get a hold of it and bring it back into the Leaf zone. Eyssimont pushes that one back along, but Perbix can't hold on to it. Now here come the Leafs one more time. Marner cuts into the middle. Sends one down toward the goal. He was looking for a little connection, but it just didn't get plugged in. Atkinson off a stick. Battling for this one. It's knocked back by Timmins. Deep in the Leafs zone. Far corner. Halfway into this first period and 30 seconds more. Stepping out, looking for some options. Just some good work there by Anthony Cirelli to cause a little confusion and delay. Domi back up into center ice and behind for Joseph Woll. A bump and a shove, and the puck comes up to the point. To the near side, the shot really doesn't get anywhere. And the puck loose to Domi. He protects this one and moves it down low. Minton on the backhand, out into center. Cut off, and Domi is able to pick it up. He rips a shot high into the shoulder of Johansson. He's able to make the stop, and he's able to hang on with 8:43 left to go in the first period. The Leafs remain up 1-0. Austin Matthews at 4:06. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
Joe and Lucy needed a new roof and reached out to Alpine Credits. I flew over to help them with a home renovation loan. I suggested they transform their house into a giant robot head. Beams that shoot from the eyes. Pew, pew. Instead, they just went with shingles. But it's pretty glorious.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
NHLShop.ca, the official online store of the National Hockey League. And Canada's largest selection of officially licensed NHL fan gear. With unique one-of-a-kind designs by Fanatics. And all the latest styles for every NHL team. Don't miss out. Shop now and get today's special offer. NHLShop.ca, a Fanatics experience.
Hey, it's Brian Hayes, and I have a confession to make. I skipped the gym a lot over the summer months, but thanks to the judgment-free zone at Planet Fitness, I'm back in my routine and feeling better than ever. Planet Fitness offers a variety of high-quality, brand-name cardio and strength equipment, and get this, a membership will only cost you $15 a month. That's right. $15 a month. So visit planetfitness.ca today or pop into a gym near you and get back into your routine at Planet Fitness.
Now Well, Joseph Wall getting his blades changed by Chris McKay at the bench during the break. The system now to just make that happen so quick is such a positive influence to the play of the game and the players.
Yeah, good luck doing that in the 80s. I mean, they're drilling into the bottom of your foot. Good back in those days. By the way, Oliver Ekman-Larsson had a 3-point night in Montreal Saturday. Had the second assist on the Austin Matthews goal. By the way, since Matthews' return, 8 goals in 9 games since his second stint on the injured list.
I think that's a pace we can all live with. That keeps rolling along. I think we'll find ourselves with some smiles. A little bit of sunshine. Nylander in against Glendening as he looks it down below the goal line, off the draw. Into the corner it comes. Cirelli on the backhand. That one in a perfect spot as it clears the zone, and Timmins is able to pick it up, moving it to Benoit. Hard off the windows and in. Holmberg. This one comes out front. The giveaway. Perfect. But McMahon didn't find the back of the net. Just rode up a little high.
I'm not sure. Was that Kucherov that threw it up the middle of the ice?
Just giving that one away. Pizza for sale. Stepping back through the middle. Off the left wing. Holding up. Big shot from the point, and that is turned away by Joseph Wall, who had a keen eye to it. Back along the near side. Kucherov looking for it. Comes off the knockdown man. Ekman-Larsson as it is Holmberg, who is in by himself, looking back to see when help will arrive. It does in the form of Matthew Knies. Now Holmberg off to the bench. Stepping to it was Marner. Riley will pick it up off the half boards, and now Marner puts some skates to it and then hands it right over. He'll chase down the mistake as the Lightning try to take advantage, and Joe Wall bails it out.
Well, only the 4th shot on goal, but Nick Paul kind of outraces both Marner and Matthews through the middle of the ice before eventually letting it go. Nice little pass from Hagel just inside the Leaf blue line.
Marner tried to get back quick on that one just to see if he could confuse the issue just a little bit, but decent shot. Here's Riley picking it up off the faceoff. Looks well ahead, trying to find Marner at center ice. Nick Paul cobbles it together and puts it over to Brandon Hagel. Wall steps out from behind his goal and moves it ahead. Right back to Wall, who gets it on the stick this time, and McCabe backhands it up out into center ice where the Lightning get control of it again. Paul turns quickly, tapped off his stick, but Knies can't reel it in before it comes all the way back into the Leafs goaltender. McCabe behind his own goal. Down the left side, David Kemp. He sends a long shot into the glove, and the Leafs are there quick enough to force the face-off.
I think you like the jumps you've seen so far with the Leafs against John Cooper's Tampa Bay Lightning. Hard to believe John Cooper now, the longest tenured coach in the National Hockey League, took over the position March 25th, 2013 from Guy Boucher in Tampa. Isn't that hard to believe? They made the conference finals 6 times, lost in the cup finals twice, and of course won back-to-back cups in 20 and 21.
We had that 2 great years in the American Hockey League prior to that, too. There's a shot right on from in close from Connor Dewar. Down below it comes, off into the corner. Eyssimont trying to pick it up and make a plan to get it out of the zone. A little step one way and the other, and Atkinson gives it away. Trying to drag it back across the line. Unwilling to come with him, David Kemp cannot quite get that puck to cooperate. 6:04 left to go in this first period.
And we talk about him being the longest tenured coach, and that means he can make decisions like not dressing Braden Point for missing a team meeting last week.
Yeah.
Point was a healthy scratch.
That's it. We always talk about confidence with players. You know, it makes all the difference. Makes all the difference. You know, players got decent confidence, but a coach to have that kind of confidence. And he's got the backing of management in that situation, too. Not that I'm sure he probably spent a whole time working on consulting on that, because those are the rules. You follow the rules, and the rules apply to everyone in a team situation. Robertson trying to get a hold of that puck in the far corner, stick side of Joseph Woll, as this one comes barreling in, and the backhand doesn't have anything on it, and Robertson gets it out and plays it ahead for Domi. He waits on it. Here's some help coming in Robertson as he takes it down into the corner, lost an edge, and went down, and Domi trying to pick that one up off the wall. It pounds off the blocker of Johansson from a fair distance away. Tannen back to it. Oh, he goes for a spill, falling back as Ekman Larson jostles for it. 15 almost gone here in period number 1. It does finally come loose out of the pile, and the Leafs spread it out below the goal line. Cross ice with some speed attached to it, as Ekman Larson tries to recover it. Gets it at the blue line, reached in to try and pull it back out, and that's enough to draw the whistle in that situation. Offside with 4:46 to go. The Leafs continue with a 1-0 lead from way back at the 4:06 mark. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network.
Just 2 matches remain in the league phase of the UEFA Champions League, and all the drama is on Sirius XM FC.
That's where Griezmann has done it in the most dramatic style.
Action continues in Madrid, where Atletico look to punch their ticket to the knockout stage with a win over the ever-tough Bayer Leverkusen.
Florian Wirtz has bent home the beauty.
Atletico versus Leverkusen, Tuesday at 3 Eastern on Sirius XM FC, channel 157 in the car and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
I think general managers must sit back in their chairs, Gord, and they must say, okay, if we make a coaching change here, chances are that at least for 10 games, we're more than competitive, and we're probably going to win much more than we lose.
Coaches are probably yelling an expletive, right? About, whatever, how that particular trend is going. So you're right. So far, it's like perfect.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Well, the Leafs with 4:46 remaining in this first period have themselves a 1-0 lead and have played a solid first so far.
Yeah, but you'd like to build on the 1-0 lead, right? Well, it's the fourth best power play now in the league in percentage, but I don't think, you got 2 units. A lot of teams would love the second power play unit for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, from the Leaf standpoint, I think you really hope you can bang in another one before the end of the period.
Now, when you start stacking numbers to numbers, you do find yourself with a little, maybe, stat anxiety as Nylander carries it back into his own zone. Ekman Larson pushing it back along. Chris Tanev, in it goes, on goal, and it's played away by Johansson and up along the right side and across the line. This one grabbed up, but bouncing a little bit on McCabe, and it comes straight back out front. And there's a little exclamation point on building more on the 1-0 lead. As Cirelli got a good chance. Out of the corner, trying to center it. Wouldn't cooperate from Kucherov. McMahon playing it along the far side. Holmberg spills on the play as it comes back up, and a long shot there. It goes wide of the mark. They'll try another, trying to search a little bit for some help. Neil Lilleberg has got a couple of good, decent crushes in on that one. 3.5 left to go here in the first period. Through the middle on a bit of a stretch. Across the line. Center back out, but Gensel couldn't do much with it except send it into Mitch Marner's skates, and now he'll go on a bit of a patrol with it. Bouncing out of the corner. Sharp over to Riley on the near side. Down the left wing, Matthews across the line as he tries to catch up to it as he sent it down into the corner. Lightning able to move it right back out. Here's Tanev through the middle. Matthews throws it down into the far corner. Little help from Nyes, and now Marner gets it onto his stick, throws it back out front. Here's Matthews again as he moves it over to Benoit. He drives it deep into the corner and rolls behind the goal. He's got help back high on the blue line. Quick over to Marner. It doesn't sit well for him, but he sends it back in, and at the blue line, again, Timmins will find Matthews. Good zone here from the Leafs as Nyes steps behind the goal to try and pick up the puck. It rolls a little bit, and Braden Point is able to move it along as the Lightning get it up and out, but they're going to have to get in a change and allows the Leafs to continue to have possession, though 200 feet away from the goal. A step for Robertson. Puts the wheels to it through the middle. Across the line, decides to send it hard back in. Domi waiting for it on the other side, but it's intercepted and put back to the blue line. Riley launches one from a ways away. Minton on the backhand. It'll come back out into center as McCabe will pick it up at his own blue line. Quick over to Riley. Through the middle. Here's Domi with a great chance and a stop, and a big one on Minton is Johansson as he got a great feed from Max Domi.
I think it's hindsight being 20/20. You're thinking Max Domi's got a chance on his own, right? Wasn't able, as he was just in behind the defense. Wasn't able to really draw Johansson over a little further to throw it back the other way to Minton. But like I said, hindsight being 20/20, you're going, no, you got to shoot it. Let him look for the rebound. But Max Domi's had some jump tonight.
You get a little bit of a scramble in that situation, but
yeah, shots on goal now 11-4 for the Leafs to go with the 1-0 lead.
Out of the circle, that one won by Connor Geekie. Now Perbix brings it across the line, looks toward the goal, sends a solid one off the stick of Joseph Wall, who turns it aside easily enough. Easily enough from where we sit, fair ways away. But this one comes back out into center, and Lilleberg there to turn it back the other way. Perbix through the middle, and a step, and a feed, and a shot, and a stop. Wall comes up with a big one. And the puck goes back the other way, and the crowd shows some appreciation. This one back out in center, McMahon.
Last minute of play.
Here we are in the last minute of play in the first period. Comes back in through the middle. Nyes makes a nice little move to cut back into the zone. Turns back and then lost an edge and went down. He tried to lean back into his man, just no support there. Perbix. Easy into the corner near side. Tanev after it there, picked up and right back the other way. Nobody home to try and stop it at the blue line. Now a bit of a wander here and figuring out. And Crozier comes back through the middle. Deep in the corner, stick side of Joseph Wall, and it'll be sent out front with the Lightning quick sticks able to keep to it. Crozier goes cross ice, time ticking here in the first period, and the Lightning on the attack. Round behind the goal, it pops. 5 seconds left to go here in period number 1. Lifted toward the goal, but it's blocked, and Timmins got that off the hand. He shakes the paw a little bit, but Joseph Wall, a nice congratulatory fist bump as he comes up with a big save near the end of the period.
Yeah, I mean, Joseph Wall, only 6 shots on goal for the Lightning in the opening period. 3 of them were outstanding saves, small breakdowns by the Leafs, and Wall was able to bail them out. And even though he gives up 3 goals in a period in the game in Montreal on Saturday, that might be his best performance of the year, where he looked like that kid that came up last year in the 25-game stint, was great in the playoffs for 2 games against Boston. He looked like he had that jump and that confidence back, and that looked like it has spilled over into the first period of this game.
Well, and I like the way his confidence only flutters a little bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't take that big ride back and forth.
It wasn't bad at any point, but now he's getting closer to that. Boy, this is the goalie that can steal points level that he's at now.
Matthews with his 19th of the year as the Leafs lead 1-0 over the Tampa Bay Lightning after 20 minutes of play. Stick around. An entertaining intermission coming up. That's the promise. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network.
I'm anchoring myself to hope. Be inspired with Joel Osteen Radio.
I just love Joel. He's the best, you know. I learn so much from him all the time.
Oh, it's just very uplifting.
It's time to say this is a new day. I've been anchored to that junk long enough.
And when you're encouraged, you can do anything.
Promotion is coming. Healing is coming. Breakthroughs are coming.
Your life will never be the same.
Be inspired with Joel Osteen Radio. Sirius XM 128 and on the Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
I think general managers must sit back in their chairs, Gord, and they must say, okay, if we make a coaching change here, chances are that at least for 10 games, we're more than competitive, and we're probably going to win much more than we lose.
Coaches are probably yelling an expletive, right? About, whatever, how that particular trend is going. So you're right. So far, it's like perfect.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Playing in the Four Nations face-off for Team USA, Connor Hellebuck.
How do you feel about getting a chance to play for USA?
The type of hockey it's going to be fun. There's going to be some high-pressure games. You're going to be putting your country's jersey on. You're representing your country. I think we're going to have a great fan base around us. And I'm really looking forward to what it brings.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now, with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
From in the crease to in the locker room.
Four Nations Team Canada face-off associate GM Jim Nill. You as a manager view goaltending going into the tournament in February.
We're talking about two of the guys that won Stanley Cups and play in those type of pressure games. That's a pretty good resume to have. So we're pretty confident with it and pretty confident with the team that we're going to have playing in front of them.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Avalanche General Manager Chris McFarland. What went in to maybe change that duo in goal?
With the work of our scout, Wedgwood's experience, he was a veteran guy. He's been through the grind. We were very bullish on McKenzie, and when the opportunity came to add him, we just felt it was the right move for us, long term.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Devils head coach Sheldon Keefe, you decided to jump right back into it.
New Jersey Devils reached out really within an hour or so of the news coming out of me being let go. And the more I got to know Tom and his vision for the team and seeing the situation, it was a tremendous opportunity that I couldn't let pass by.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
It's down behind the goal. It comes. Snapped up through the middle. Here's Matthews with a step to the forehand. Score! Punches it to the back of the goal. And the Leafs go up 1-0. 4 minutes, 7 seconds in.
And That's where we stand after 20 minutes of play. Toronto 1, Tampa nothing. After 20 minutes is driven by Subaru. Get out in winter with standard, symmetrical, full-time all-wheel drive. Visit your local Subaru dealer to book a test drive today. Welcome back to Scotiabank Arena. Jim Taddy and former NHLer Anthony Stewart with you. And Stu, you were the guy who predicted there'd be a goal in the first 5 minutes, and you were correct, sir.
What do I win? But, again,
I've got a burger over here. It's a nothing burger.
Extra air cheese. But, no, it was a great start by Toronto, and I'm sure Craig Berube stressed that in morning skate and probably pregame. Like, this is a Tampa Bay Lightning team that if you pounce on them, they've been known to sort of, fold at times here, but you do not want to have a game where you're just going back and forth, because they do have the 4 guys that scored 20 or plus more goals this year for them. So it was a great start. And it's almost, the bag of tricks that Austin Matthews has based on his goals in the previous couple of games. Johansson must have thought he was going top shelf with his goals on Ottinger and Markstrom, and a little trick shot putting it between the wickets there to make it 1-0. So Austin Matthews, he's flying again tonight. That line has been all over the place. Toronto did a good job in the first 5-6 minutes of stretching out the zone, but then it started to sort of tighten up as Tampa was doing a good job just tight checking, really closing and shrinking that neutral zone. But I'd give the edge, obviously, in the scoreboard, but in play as well. I think Toronto outplayed them through the first 20 minutes.
I would suggest to you that the Leafs transition game looked pretty sharp. Would you agree?
It was. And the D were head-manning the puck pretty good. D to D, up the wall, stretch passes, and good job managing the puck by Toronto. They've been known to sometimes already turn it over, but the wingers, when they've been getting it on the wall, great bump pass by Nyes to Matthews to keep the puck moving there, but they're managing the puck really well. No blue line turnovers. We saw Austin Matthews chip in charge a couple times as well too, so they're sticking to the system. That's sort of been the MO for this group the whole entire year. They stick to that system and eventually win, but for them, that first goal has been chasing them. They've been chasing a lot of games as of late. That first goal is big, where not saying they can take their foot off the gas, but they don't necessarily have to panic and wait for a big power play or wait for to get back into this game. They're creating their own destiny tonight.
If I said the shots on goal, which I will, 11-6 for the Leafs, I don't know if you could read much into that, but it doesn't tell you that Johansson made at least 5 really big saves, and Wall made probably 3 or 4.
Yeah, I'd say the scoring chances are probably 4-4, right? And Wall made a big save in the end there on Gergensen, on Tampa Bay stretching the zone as well too. Johansson breakaway save on McMahon. He's been dialed in. A couple plays behind the net as well. So it's going to be a goaltending duel. But so far so good. But I think for Toronto, I'm not sure if you noticed, Taddy, the last 5-6 minutes just felt like background noise, where it's sort of just fading into the back and forth. I think Toronto wants that methodical game, because what you don't want to do, this Tampa Bay team, they can get it on the forecheck, but they can really hurt you down low. So if I'm Toronto, continue to get back and not spend too much time in your zone, because again, you got another couple games coming up here. Just simplify and sort of let the game come to you as they have through 20 minutes here.
Yeah, I would agree. I think in the last 5 minutes, Tampa spent more time in the Leaf zone, and you could see that once they're in there, they know what to exploit.
Yes, and paying attention to players like Points, right? He comes in, enters, twists, turn, makes a great backhand plays. These guys can make plays on their backhands at high levels of speed. You saw Nick Paul get in on the forecheck and turn some pucks over too. So what you don't want is have them spend 30, 40 seconds and get a change, because Kucherov's line comes over the board. They caught Holmberg out there for 20, 30 seconds. That can be the difference. If you're chasing that game and you're stuck in your zone and you're just getting tired, your horses aren't going to have enough time or enough energy to get up on offense as they have in the first 20 minutes here.
Just as easy could be 2 or 3-0. Domi had he was in tight and passed him in, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, everything looks easy from up here. I'm not sure the angle he saw, but he's been challenged. He's been challenged by Craig Berube to shoot the puck more, and I'm sure if he goes back and takes a look at that, he could have came across the crease and maybe roofed it. And that's sort of what the I would say concern a little bit for Domi. He has such a good shot. I've seen him roof that puck 10 times from that exact spot, and he defers, and he's deferring a little bit to McMahon, who's pretty hot as well. But for Domi, I think he's got to shoot that 100%.
So good start out of the way, and the 1-0 lead, and even on the Matthews goal, it's a 2-on-1, and he chose to fire it in, and it goes 5-hole.
Yeah, and that was a spot. And I wouldn't want to be Johansson in his head right now. What he's thinking, right? He's thinking he's going bar down. He's shooting it through the back bar there too. But again, it's so quick. It's the release is so tight and so fast. You can't necessarily do anything. You almost have to close your eyes and hope it hits you.
Well, that's Ralphie's stat, and I'm sure Ralphie was all over that when he scored the first goal. That three goals against Johansson in another game. So
I thought you said that was Ralphie's MO when the shooter's coming down. You close your eyes and hope for the best.
Well, that too. That too. So, what are you saying, Ralphie? Just put the mic on. Go ahead. No, he doesn't get paid for that. Okay, good.
But if I'm Toronto coming into the second period, just say same way, get pucks in. They could have drawn a couple penalties, and hopefully they'll get those calls, and hopefully that power play, that's that momentum builder.
Yeah.
Hopefully they get a couple and score tonight to sort of maybe put this game out of reach. But it's not over. It's not over. Anything but over.
It's only the first period, guy. I don't know where you were going there. It's 1-0 for the Leafs over Tampa after 20 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuss shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
How can you protect your keys? Simply attach a War Amps key tag to your key ring. If you lose your keys, the finder can call the number on the back of the tag or drop them in any mailbox, and the War Amps will return them to you by courier for free. Today, the key tag service is more important than ever, with the high replacement cost of keys and remote devices. War Amps key tags. They're free and they work. Order yours at waramps.ca and help make a difference in the lives of amputees.
There you are, alone in your car, waiting at a red light. Suddenly, there she is, pressed against your window, holding a homemade cardboard sign. Can you really tell what it says about her? Don't let homelessness assumptions get in the way of homelessness solutions. Go to CanadaCanDoIt.ca. Help the Canadian Alliance to end homelessness.
Hey, it's Brian Hayes, and I'm living large with my Black Card membership at Planet Fitness. For just $29.99, you get all types of perks, like bringing a guest for free, access to any Planet Fitness location, and my favorite perk of them all, unlimited use of the hydro massage. And believe me, I've been really testing that policy out lately. So sign up today for your Planet Fitness Black Card membership at planetfitness.ca, or pop into any location and get ready to absolutely love going to the gym at Planet Fitness.
We all know things tend to break when you need them most, like your furnace breaking down in the middle of a cold snap. That's why Enercare is offering a free furnace checkup for homeowners in the GTA. That's a $99 value. If your furnace has any issues, our Enercare experts can fix it, or we can get you a new one as soon as the next day. Don't get stuck shivering. Keep your home comfortable with Enercare. Terms and conditions apply. Visit Enercare.ca.
Enercare, experts at home.
At Metro, we'd like to start 2025 right by wishing all a happy New Year, New Savings event. On now at your local Metro, where you can take advantage of great savings store-wide, including red grilled bone-in strip loin steaks or roasts for only $7.88 per pound, or jumbo cherries for just $3.99 per pound, only until January 22nd. Plus hundreds of other great offers all month. So wave bye to last year and say hi to a new year with new savings. Shop now at your local Metro or online at metro.ca.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. You don't have to go out of town for a great new Tundra RAV4 gas or hybrid. Maple Toyota has them in stock and ready to deliver. Visit mapletoyota.com. 8 other games. Some of these are done. And here's what we have. Blues over the Golden Knights 4-2. That's in the third period. Starting the second, Jackets 1-0 over the Islanders. Done today. Bruins 6-3 over the Sharks. Wild 3-1 over the Avs. And the Kraken 6-4 over the Sabres. Getting set to start right now. Carolina and Chicago against the Hawks at 9:30. The Jets in Utah. And at 10:30, the Penguins visiting the LA Kings. In our game, it's 1-0 for the Leafs over the visiting Tampa Bay Lightning. Matthews is 19th of the season. Oh, yes, the second period is next. This is Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
VEASAN
The Sports Betting Network is back on SiriusXM. Go to channel 158 for informed wagering and fantasy advice from familiar voices like Gil Alexander, Paulie Howard, and Mitch Moss. Plus, SiriusXM mainstays Adam Shine, Rich Gannon, and the guru, John Hansen. We're getting you ready for the upcoming games with a finger on the pulse of the latest news and the moving lines and odds. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, is now on SiriusXM 158 and on the SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
I think general managers must sit back in their chairs, Gord, and they must say, okay, if we make a coaching change here, chances are that at least for 10 games, we're more than competitive, and we're probably going to win much more than we lose.
Coaches are probably yelling an expletive, right? About, whatever, how that particular trend is going. So you're right. So far, it's like perfect.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter. Haaland scores the hat-trick.
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Let's go.
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
The second period is brought to you by Molson. Whether it's Canadian, Ultra, Export, or XL, there's a Molson with your name on it. Trying to build here in the second period off a solid first as the Leafs come out of it with a 1-0 lead. And the second period imminent here at Scotiabank Arena. I'm Todd Crocker along with Jim Ralph. And Ralphie, I got to tell you, when you start to see period after period going in the right direction, it starts to feel like there's a little bit of energy just from stepping out onto the ice.
Yeah, and you know what you're going to see, you get the opposite too, right? Over the course of a long season. And, the Leafs had lost the season high 3 in a row. Trailed the entire game pretty much against the New Jersey Devils before never led in the game before winning in overtime. And, of course, the comeback in Montreal when you're down 3-0. So you go through that. And we said Tampa comes in on a pretty good roll. But before this stretch of 5-1-1, they'd lost 4 in a row, including 3 straight in the California road trip. And you go through that stretch where what's going on? Well, 4 games, 5 goals.
Yeah.
Different guys struggle at different times. Maybe, though, the one guy you want to keep from shooting the puck is Braden Point. Shooting percentage this year, 29.7%. So you might want to keep him away. 27 goals on the season.
Wow.
That's anyone with 20 or more goals. So that's the highest shooting percentage.
That's a head shaker. Just to keep it at that level, and just to make the choices that keep you at that level. Long toss in as the second period begins, and Johansson hangs on to that one. We'll get the face-off.
I believe the highest shooting percentage over the course of a season was 80-81. Charlie Simmer of the famed Triple Crown line scored 56 goals that year at a 32.8% shooting percentage.
Western Air.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Now Holmberg comes in to take this face-off. Anthony Cirelli opposite, who wins it, and it comes rolling back out front, but the Leafs are able to keep it in. As Ekman Larsson sends it down deep, McMahon battles for it, but he's outmanned, and it is popped back out front. Some steps to it from Cirelli. Hagel will drop it back. Great chance off the pads, and Wall makes a good save. He's going to have to make another, and he does. Off the blocker this time, and off to the far side it goes. Hagel up high, a little tap, a couple of steps by Nylander, and he's able to convince the puck to get out of the zone. Right back in, clattering off the windows. Puck reversed over to Tanev. Ahead for Nylander. He just gives it a bit of a pop, and Bobby McMahon will go after it. Nylander unable to keep that one and hang on to it, and Marner picks it up in center ice. Steps one way, the other, and now brings it over to the far boards, curling into the corner. Still hanging on behind the goal. Tried to come back the other way and get some help from Austin Matthews. Down below the goal line, Matthews pops out on the glove side. Still with it out of the corner. Marner with the shot, and it doesn't get by. Lifted out into center, and McCabe will chase it back into the Toronto zone. Moves out to the far side and finds Marner again through the middle. He's got help from Nyes. There's Riley in close. Out front it comes. Marner gets it on his knees and moves it quickly over to Riley on the far side this time. Puck comes out to Matthews, and now up high to Riley. He's going to hand this one over. Waiting, trying to suck some people towards him as Riley picks it up, throwing it down into the mix, but right back the other way it comes. Leafs, some folks interested in trying to drive a little energy into their game from the crowd section. Timmins. In it goes, and played by the goaltender. And then given away to Fraser Minton, and now Domi behind the goal centers it out. He was hoping to find Nick Robertson. He was there. The puck never arrived. Cabe turns back on his backhand and sends it up to Robertson. Controls it at his own blue line, but as he tried to find Minton, it got away. Up along the near boards. Robertson under some duress. Jurgensen plays it to the far side, but Domi's there to pick it up and send it back out into center ice. Now Joseph Wall gets a touch on it. He's watching his teammates change, and he fakes a pass, and then he's able to give them just a bit of a breath to get it out into center ice. Hedman looking for it. Played back into the middle, knocked down, but only by a touch, and now back comes Asamon. Throws one low on the stick as Wall turns it away and gets some appreciation. Back up to the point and along for Hedman. Finds some help way up high on the blue line. Side of the goal it goes. Asamont there to pick it up as he sends it over to the far side, and just a misplay, but the puck comes down in on Wall. He throws the pad on it, and that was one of those off-speed travelers that Joseph Wall threw the leg out and thought it was coming at him maybe a little quicker, and it wasn't.
Yeah, and then you worry that maybe somebody gets a piece of it before it gets to you. But Joseph Wall came up with 3 big stops in the opening period, has come up with a couple of difficult ones here in the second. Even the blocker save off Nikita Kucherov.
A pretty focused game so far. Not a lot of opportunities to start getting the officials interested. They try to figure this out.
No power plays either way so far in this game tonight, which he said might favor the Leafs. 4th best power play for Tampa, 8th best penalty kill in the league.
You got to know there was a bit of a marching order on that one. Let's not get ourselves into trouble and hurt ourselves in this situation. Matthews gets in after it. Took a bit of a slider there into the wall as it comes behind the goal of the Lightning. A race and a battle for it along the wall, near side, and Marner is able to push it right back. Ekman Larsson over the far side and across the line, drawing in, face-off dot, and a shot from Riley. Back it pops out into center ice. Kucherov across the line. Like he wanted the shot there, but this time he sends it back, and Wall steers it aside below the goal line. We'll tap back up along to McDonough. Side of the goal. It rolls out front of Wall. He drops his stick and puts the blocker on it to hang on. Didn't want to see that one become any kind of trouble.
Dominic Hasek might have been proud of that. He might have been the first, I think, you ever saw do it on a regular basis. Throw the stick and use the blocking hand.
Prior to that, you'd see guys in an emergency, but, the last thing you wanted to do, seemingly, was give up your stick. But Dominic Hasek just became so comfortable with it.
And a lot of other things we couldn't explain at the time.
But they worked. Here's Crozier out front, just looking for a little tip, never made contact. Back the other way comes McMahon. No contact on that one either, and Lightning are able to turn it back the other way. Drop back, beauty shot, and a better save from Wall. Holmberg squeezed into the corner. Picked up on a reach and brought out into center ice. And now Benoit lifts it into the Lightning zone. Crozier will pick it up there. Leafs interested in a bit of a change as McMahon trying to convince that puck to do what it wants. And now Nylander steals it away, rips one on goal. William Nylander able to get a hold of that puck and then create an offensive chance.
Well, Tampa's been guilty of turning the puck over a number of times in this game. And the Leafs really have only been able to capitalize once in the Austin Matthews goal.
A little bit of credit
to this. I mean, Nylander, dogged in pursuit, is able to strip it off the Tampa defenseman. That was Maxwell Crozier that got caught. He was the one that got caught pinching on the Matthews goal in the first period. Nylander lifts his stick just inside the Tampa line and then right back towards the net, forcing Johansson to make the stop.
The learning curve is unforgiving. Here's Tanev. Marner, a couple of spins, pirouettes, and then leaves it back for Matthews, who takes it up to the blue line and then sends it down into the mixer. It travels all the way to the corner. Back out of the pile it comes, and Cirelli races back up through center. He wanted it back, but he had three Leafs right there on top of him. Tanev is the one who's able to come back to it. Matthews hoping to steal it away along the near side wall in the Leafs zone. And Kucherov gets his stick on it. Wants it back, but that puck goes awry into the screen and out of play.
I think Joseph Wall got a piece of that as well. And that time, it was Matthew Nyes turning the puck over to the wrong guys.
13:57 left to go here in the second period. Leafs up 1-0. We're listening to Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network.
The 2025 Honda Civic Hybrid is here, and it may sound too good to be true. With a 2-liter 4-cylinder backed by 2 electric motors, giving a combined 200 horsepower, it's our most powerful and fuel-efficient Civic ever. Plus, with an estimated range of over 800 kilometers and available features like a Bose premium sound system, your crew will love it too. Maybe it should be called the Civic 2.0. Redefine your drive with the 2025 Civic Hybrid. Visit your Ontario Honda dealer and test drive yours today.
You've never gone to school to be a veterinarian. So how do you help a cat in need? By helping those who can help. By donating to North Toronto Cat Rescue. Your donation helps North Toronto Cat Rescue help the injured, lost, and abandoned cats and kittens. And you'll help keep their promise to never put a cat down. Go now to NorthTorontoCatRescue.com to donate, adopt, or learn how to become a volunteer. And let's all give a helping paw.
Each year, we make resolutions promising this year will be the year we finally stick to them. Why not make one that's easy to keep by getting your eye exam at Pearl Vision and finding a new look that helps you see clearly and look great? Pearl Vision carries brands like Coach, Ray-Ban, and Michael Kors, and they direct bill most insurance plans. Visit pearlvision.ca to arrange your eye exam today.
Well, one of the things that I think I would advise anybody if they can, if you're fortunate enough to do it, is see Austin Matthews shoot the puck in person. I remember the first time I saw that back when years ago when we were first came, it was Colorado, and I came out to do the game, and the first time I saw it actually happen in person, just how he releases the puck, how he gets a decent shot away. it's not the same.
I would
seeing it on
say
TV.
I would agree with you with one exception. If you're an American League goalie getting called up, you might want to wait.
That's fair. There are some folks, exceptions to the rule, as it is always said. One slides out for Joseph Wall from behind the goal. He's able to just cover it up and hang on to it. Compact game right there.
You and I were talking in the intermission or in the last commercial break. This has been a strange game. I mean, it's low scoring, but it's been high event, and mostly because of turnovers. Both teams have been guilty of turning the puck over to give up glorious opportunities, and it's kind of amazing. It's still just 1-0.
Mondays. Got a case of the Mondays. I'm going to work on my internet meme game. Haven't got it all down just quite yet.
It's a prime game.
Through the middle. This one is Robertson trying to gobble it up, but Hedman moves it back to the blue line. We'll get there.
A lot of people can't afford to go to the games. No, some people can't afford to watch it.
Yeah, so out front it comes. And you put your eye on it as Riley sends it down in the corner. They're going to make a full change here, the Leafs. Always great to pick up the game on the radio and wherever you're traveling to, however you're grabbing a hold of it. Nothing like Leafs hockey. Eyssimont over the far side, drop back, and Minton is able to pick it off. And now down the left side comes Nylander with speed. Recognized he didn't quite have the edge, and then he sends it off for Domi. They just recognized at the end of that there was no more room to work with. Johansson, pretty casual with it, nearly gave it away to Minton. Nylander out there with Domi as well as comes skittering back in below the goal line. Play back for Timmins. Now here's Minton again, trying to get away from a little bit of pressure as he sends it down into the zone. Mitchell Chaffee right there. Little dig in front of the bench of the Leafs as Domi got it loose, and now Marner is able to pick it up. Here comes help from the bench. Austin Matthews. Marner looks down toward the goal, hangs on, tipped out front, and it comes off the pads as Johansson is able to get his pad down and in front of it.
That was Austin Matthews with the redirection right in front of Johansson. Mitch Marner launches it from the high slot with traffic in front. And again, like I said, we're seeing chances. I mean, that's really hasn't been a very physical game. But both teams guilty of whether you say they've been dogged on the puck and be able to force takeaways, or guys just haven't been very solid as far as making the safe plays to get it out.
Well, sometimes you get up against a good hockey team. Both sides know they're playing a good hockey team, and the room for mistakes is very small. And so you don't want to put yourself or your team in any kind of danger or any threat. Back out front it comes. Boy, that was a great opportunity. Evaporated as it came just a little too quickly through the center of the ice. It sent right back in. Tanev moves it along. Marner lifts it off the wall and back down the ice. Good weight on it. Herbert is able to get back to it. Top of the face-off circle in his own zone. Right back the other way. Ekman Larsson will pick it up. The crowd interested in seeing the excitement level rise a little bit as they are invested here in the second period. 9 minutes and 10 seconds in. McMahon wanting to get his touch to it. Got a stick on it, but not enough. Now Ekman Larsson will move it to the near side corner inside the Leafs zone. Will dig off the wall, and the Lightning able to step back, point, unable to pick it up, and Nylander comes out down the left wing, knocked away as he tried to scoop it in, and here come the Lightning with a lot of real estate. Gensel rolls behind the goal. The Leafs fill in, and Point waiting for it, and that comes off of Holmberg out front, and Wall is able to turn that one aside. Back high on the blue line it comes. Shot low off the pads and turned away. Hedman with the opportunity as it backhanded through the middle. He'll come back on it as Nylander gives him some interest and then breaks off to go to the bench. Hedman to the far side, and in it comes. Side of the goal. Joseph Woll, keen eye. McCabe moves it along, finding Dewar, who gets it up out into center, and then that flip comes right to Holmberg. He decides to backhand it, bouncing in towards the goal, and it's stopped up there with 9:41 left to go.
Well, one thing, the Leafs at one point, when they had the 1-0 lead in the first period, were out shooting Tampa by a 10-4 count. The shots are now 16-14, favoring the Leafs, and Tampa starting to press here in the second period.
You're listening to Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network.
Be a lifeline for Southern California by supporting the Red Cross wildfire relief effort. The American Red Cross is on the front lines, providing emergency shelter, food, water, and medical support to those affected. Together, we can make a difference. To donate, please visit redcross.org, call 1-800-RED-CROSS, or text CA Wildfires to 90999. That's redcross.org, 1-800-RED-CROSS, or text CA Wildfires to 90999.
Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Playing in the Four Nations face-off for Team USA, Connor Hellebuck.
How do you feel about getting a chance to play for USA?
The type of hockey it's going to be fun. There's going to be some high-pressure games. You're going to be putting your country's jersey on. You're representing your country. I think we're going to have a great fan base around us, and I'm really looking forward to what it brings.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. From in the crease to in the locker room.
Four Nations Team Canada face-off associate GM Jim Nill. You as a manager view goaltending going into the tournament in February.
You know, we're talking about two of the guys that won Stanley Cups and play in those type of pressure games. That's a pretty good resume to have. So we're pretty confident with it and pretty confident with the team that we're going to have playing in front of them.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The best hockey lives here.
Barnes gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Well, the folks who have come out on a Monday night aren't seeing a lot of goals, but some good chances in the second period from both sides.
Yeah, but I think Joseph Woll is the one that has had to make the more difficult stops here in the second. You said I was saying early before, even after the New Jersey game, said he's been average, and you don't mean that as negative, because since coming into the league, he's set his own standard that we've been able to compare.
Tanev was hoping to connect with Matthew Nyes, who was about 2 feet out front. Didn't quite work out, and now the Lightning have it in the Leafs zone. Round behind the goal it comes. Hagel steps out. Great opportunity, and there's another one that looked like it was going in.
Yeah, my point being, he hasn't been average the last 5 periods or 4.5 periods. He's been outstanding for the Leafs, Joseph Woll.
And he's needed to be. Here's Nyes. Down below the goal line. Start relying on the goaltender to do the winning. Especially at 1-0. Here's McDonough. Hagel. I'm going to be a part of it. That's for sure. It slides off into the corner as it comes off a stick. You don't want to be the sole reason. Not all the time. Back up at the blue line it comes. McCabe will track it down and find it in his own zone along the near wall, and a long toss ahead. Domi tries to poke it ahead for Riley. Takes the shot, and Riley sends it high and into the glass. Here's Gensel right back the other way, leads it in, but Minton had his man covered, stuck with him, and kept that from being a dangerous opportunity.
Talking about Nikita Kucherov, people will pose that question. You're starting a franchise right now. What player do you pick? And it's hard to ignore McDavid, Draisaitl, Nathan McKinnon. So there's Matthews, Marner, Nylander. Something about Nikita Kucherov that is just one of those guys. You don't see him on the highlight reel going end-to-end, beating guys one-on-one, out-racing guys. But his hockey IQ is off the charts.
And he's a little bit.
Well, and there's a little edge to him.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. He's a little bit of the torso muscle, or whatever whatever they tell you to work on in the gym.
The core.
Yeah, the core. Yeah, he's a little bit of that. If you want to make the analogy, and he's a guy that gives you a lot of strength and gives a lot of other parts about your hockey team a lot of strength. Try to drag it across the line, but it does not look good, and it wasn't good. So they'll bring it back outside for the offside face-off. Leafs holding themselves to that 1-0 lead. Austin Matthews was the one who got it. If you just ticked in here, tuned in, and found yourself wondering who's got what and where.
Yeah, at that point, you sort of had the feeling this could be a wide-open, high-scoring game.
No, because it came just a couple of ticks over the 4-minute mark, and so it really did feel a little bit like, oh, here we go again. They got 7 the other night, and we got more coming. But tightened up a little bit by Tampa, and the Leafs as well are getting great goaltending from Joseph Woll. We'll flip ahead. That one doesn't quite work out. Gensel moves it right back. Benoit off the boards and out, but Nick Paul able to get in the way of it. McMahon strong on the puck, carries it back across the line, puts it in on the goaltender, blockered away, and Holmberg kicks it to his forehand. Robertson turns one way, comes back the other way, and is outmanned on the puck as it comes back into the Leaf zone. Battle for it as Benoit makes a bit of a shove there, nearly spilled into the corner, but he stays on his feet, and Nylander eases it back out into center ice as he works with Fraser Minten. Geekie comes back the other way, and it is across the line again as Gensel drops it back. Long shot, but that's a bit outside. Comes right back for Minten. Nylander following. Minten turns back, and I think he made a solid play there. Strangely, it sounds odd because it got broken up, but oftentimes in that situation, you want to throw it out there with a little bit of authority, but I think he was afraid to lose the zone and lose the puck in a dangerous way.
Yeah, and yet sometimes being a little bit tentative is what ultimately costs you. Fraser Minten, I mean...
You just couldn't see if there really was a Nylander back there.
Then once you get a little bit of confidence, Jake Gensel was right on him. You get that little bit of confidence, and you say, I'm in a position, I got to shoot it here from 15 feet out.
Create havoc in a different way. As this one finds its way out off a skate. And the Lightning are able to pick it up, and Eyssimont moves it right back in. Ekman Larson. Little tap there from Clendenny. He's knocked down, and no penalty on that. McDonough right back out into center ice. Atkinson comes all the way back over the far side. And now McDonough again. Eyssimont standing at the point, and he works down the left wing, and he rips a shot on Joseph Woll, who swallows it up and hangs on.
And if you're keeping track, that gets the shots at 16-15. Still favored the Leafs with 6:27 to go.
If you're scoring at home.
Yeah. Well, you're scoring at home, you're probably not listening to the game.
You got like those score sheets in baseball. You remember people would show up to the ballpark with those score sheets, and it was like hieroglyphics trying to figure out what they were writing down. There's a man left on first, and is shaded in this way and that way. I tell you, anybody who signed up as a kid's scorekeeper had to take a course. This one comes loose. Nylander, lots of real estate, takes the shot. He scores! The train was coming.
William Nylander went through an 11-game stretch with a single goal. Make that 4 in his last 3. As it all starts with a face-off win in the Leaf zone. And Morgan Rielly forces it up the boards, but it's turned over by Nikita Kucherov. Right at the blue line, and eventually it's Willie Nylander. using that speed, and another breakaway goal. Had one against Montreal. Ended it in overtime against New Jersey.
Sweet skates. Just sweet skates.
And he seems to go through stages on breakaways where he's always thinking. And now always it's the shot that's finding the back of the net.
Wow, he got onto a track there and just unrelenting to the goal. Here's Benoit cutting to the goal with a backhand. Turned away. Timmins keeps it in. Matthews off the boards, and now Austin Matthews works below the goal, moves it along for Marner off the wall. The tip out front by Nyes gets a reaction from the crowd. Here's Marner with it as he flips it up. That's kind of an odd angle. It kind of caught an edge and finds its way back down to the floor. Out into center ice it comes, and Timmins cross sights. Here's Nyes, rips one at the goaltender, but it's turned away.
I'll tell you something, Tampa may want to keep an eye on Matthew Nyes as well. Coming into this game, 7 career games against the Tampa Bay Lightning, 5 goals, 5 assists in that stretch.
You're listening to Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
I don't want to say I'm a big deal, but I am a superhero. I love helping people consolidate their debts, and that's what I did for the Smiths. I took their bills and zoom, wha-bam, zap, turn them into one low monthly payment. No, the sound's not necessary, but it's part of the fun.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
This product may not be right for you. Always read and follow the label.
Looking to kick the new year off on a healthier note? Why not add a little spice to your life? Now you can, with new Nordic's Chili Burn Max. Packed with chili, green tea, and black cumin, Chili Burn Max is Scandinavia's #1 weight loss supplement. For over 20 years, tens of thousands of users have trusted new Nordic's Chili Burn Max to help them achieve their weight goals. Find it at Shoppers Drug Mart, Walmart, Loblaws, Jean Coutu, and London Drugs, or shop online at Amazon and newnordic.ca.
Are you looking for endless entertainment? It's all here on Crave. It would be impossible to name every show and movie on a list that's endless. But let's try. We have exclusive HBO originals like The White Lotus and The Penguin. Oh, you cannot miss that. The biggest blockbusters and hit reality series like The Traitors. Oh, Crave is also the only place to stream your favorite shows like Shoresy, Friends. Wait, did I mention the Harry Potter film series? There's so much more. The list goes on forever. Crave, endlessly entertaining.
And we are back here at Scotiabank Arena. Todd Crocker and Jim Ralph as the Leafs have a 2-0 lead. Courtesy one William Nylander and Austin Matthews way back in the first.
Pretty hard to fault Jonas Johansson in this game. Beaten on 2 breakaways, and then you'll remember Bobby McMahon had a breakaway in the opening period as well.
A couple of good opportunities, and hard to keep the guys who can score from scoring. And Matthews and Nylander both in that situation.
Yes, we did have the game against the New Jersey Devils. Nylander and Matthews 2 goals apiece in that one, including Nylander with the overtime winner.
Lawrence and Riley on the assists. And they came back from deep. Nylander made something happen. Here's McMahon as he cuts it off and sends it back into center. That hammered back in for Wall. He just gives it over to Tanev. Eases it back up to the blue line. McMahon looking for options above the blue line, but it finds its way into the Lightning hands and back into the Leaf zone. Wall comes scrambling out of his goal to play it. A couple of sticks on it as Cirelli was looking for a little help out at the face-off dot. Never got there, and Nylander plays it back out into center ice. It's punched ahead, but it comes across the line regardless as Nylander pushes it to the far side. Riley scrambles down the boards to try and pick it up. He backs up, and out comes the puck. McDonough to the far side. Looked like it was going to be offside anyway, and then almost looked like they had too many men. Back through the middle. Paul forcing his way behind the goal. Comes out the other side. Wants some help up high, and he finds it in Hedman toward the goal. Low off the toes of Wall as it comes right back to Hedman again. Far side. Shots. And that one sneaks in past Joseph Wall. An innocent-looking shot from the boards. But those go in, too. And Nick Paul is going to get some credit.
Yeah, I think Paul was the one that scored it. I think it was Radish that might have set this up. A shot off the boards, and Nick Paul, I think, just gets a piece of it. It's Radish that lets it go. And yeah, I mean, this is from a sharp angle right from the right wing boards. And the Leafs with two nice ones, and Tampa Bay Lightning with an old-fashioned one. Throw it to the net and look for a redirection. We're getting another angle at it here. Still can't tell, but they've been showing Nick Paul on the scoreboard.
It looked pretty clean, and he did go over to the bench. Although, as I say, I mean, it didn't look like it really slowed down at all. But the guys on the ice seem to know better than most. As Gensel picks it up, and it goes offside with 3:32 remaining. As Joseph Wall has one get by him, and suddenly, as we talked about earlier, that 1-0 lead was not good enough, and you wonder if something has broken open here a little bit from both squads as they try to find a little bit more offense.
They haven't posted yet on the NHL website as to who the official goal scorer, but we are going to assume that it went off Nick Paul in front. It was pointless, the two games coming into this one after a 5-game point streak before that.
That one hammered back into the corner as Marner sends it over to the far side. Knocked down at the blue line, and boy, that one just got its shoes on and walked across. And as Matthews plays it over the far side, but it was on a bit of a wander. Kucherov into the blue paint, but not with a lot of intensity attached to it as it comes back, dancing up to the blue line and then over the far boards. Kucherov centering it, but never got there. Joseph Wall, uninterested in seeing it come from another angle, decides to hang on to that one with less than 3 minutes to go here in period number 2. 2:54 to be exact. And why wouldn't we be?
Yeah, and by the way, it is Nick Paul's 12th of the season from Radish and Brayton Point. So kind of something out of nothing, but it keeps dangerous Tampa Bay Lightning offense right in this game.
Well, shouting distance is one thing, but whispering distance is just a little bit different. Makes the interest level.
And even talking to Suey Anthony Stewart before the game, you're saying Tampa's still a team that you wouldn't want to meet in the first round of the playoffs.
Oftentimes you get caught up in all the narrative that comes around about, the team's window this and the team's window that. And you don't believe it. When a team's been able to win, it still knows how to win.
Tampa's more a sliding door than a window, aren't they?
Puck out of the mix there in front of the Leafs bench. And Lorentz gets it down in the near side corner. Perbix plays it behind his goaltender. Long pass up to the blue line, but Eyssimont couldn't quite hang on to it. That one got by Nylander. He'll travel all the way down the ice. We haven't had too many icings in this one, but there's one for you in case you were missing the play. It'll come back on the free ride into the Leaf zone.
I mean, a big reason for Tampa's success, spectacular ownership, where they look after everybody. Great people in management. And we mentioned John Cooper, the longest tenured coach of the National Hockey League.
Well, you got to admire the success that he's had in the organization completely.
Yep.
And then
and he came up like the players.
Yeah.
Close to the American League.
Yeah. What you got to appreciate. Here's Hedman toward the goal. He had some traffic out there, but took a side street as it comes back below the goal line. McMahon will pick it up. He's got some room to move. Finds Nylander through the middle, who just pushes it ahead and asks Bobby McMahon to get after it. He touches it behind the goal, and it comes back to Hedman and out through the middle one more time. Trying to make a decision to bring it across the line, and the indecisiveness allowed the Leafs to get a hold of it. Nylander backhands it in, and they're going to make a change here. Flipping over the boards was Marner. And it is chipped back in as the Lightning want to do the same. This allows the Leafs a good opportunity for McCabe to set up behind his own goal and see the right bodies on the ice as they turn back. Trying to get it back through the middle to Austin Matthews. Long pass over to the near side boards. It made contact with the boards, and it comes back to the Leafs and Morgan Rielly. He's looking for Mitch Marner. He hammers it in, and Johansson is able to play it high off the glass and into the neighbor's yard with 59.5 seconds left to go here in the second period.
One thing that's really changed about goaltending, and you see Alex Nedeljkovic with the Pittsburgh Penguins as a goal and an assist and stopped 40 shots in one game. And we see here, Jonas Johansson, goaltender, fires it around the glass and out of play. And I've had people ask me, did you ever score a goal when you played? And my response is always the same. If in my day I could do that, I would not have been a goalie. If I could shoot the puck over the glass.
Everything was heavier then, though. Very heavy. Gravity was different in those days. Working back, here's Hagel. Throws one toward the goal, but it sends it just a little bit wide, and it is picked up by Matthews and taken away. And down deep into the Leaf zone again, but not a lot of pressure attached to this as it comes back up for Nyes. 30 seconds left to go. Nyes will step off the wall, and now Matthews gathers it up at the blue line. Nyes out front, over the shoulder. Matthew Nyes restores the 2-goal lead.
After giving up a chance the other way, the Leafs score the video game goal between Matthews, Marner, and Nyes. And we mentioned Nyes had great numbers against Tampa coming in. 10 points in 7 games, make it 11-8. As Marner off the left wing boards, to Nyes in front, and Radish gets a piece of this. But Nyes was first Marner, apologies to Matthews, and then Matthews from the boards to Nyes going to the net. And in one move, backhand, forehand, snaps it blocker side to make it 3-1.
Play resumes with under 10 seconds to go. What a period of hockey from here at the Scotiabank Arena. The Leafs with a 3-1 lead. A couple of goals they got and one they gave up.
For Matthew Nyes, that's his first goal in his last 5 games. And everybody's going to remember the 4 games before that when he scored 5 at 8 points, including a 5-point night, career high against the Boston Bruins.
Stick around. The intermission coming up with Jim Taddy, the hockey shepherd of that moment. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network.
I'm Katie Nolan, and I have a new podcast called Casuals. It's a podcast for people who like sports a normal amount. Casuals is a twice-a-week hang with me and my friends from across comedy, sports, and entertainment, where we talk about all the funny, weird, interesting stuff happening in and around the world of sports. So whether you're a diehard fan or just vaguely sports curious, Casuals is the podcast for you. You can find Casuals on the SiriusXM app, Pandora, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Give it a try. What's the worst that could happen?
NHL Morning Skate.
I think general managers must sit back in their chairs, Gord, and they must say, okay, if we make a coaching change here, chances are that at least for 10 games, we're more than competitive, and we're probably going to win much more than we lose.
Coaches are probably yelling an expletive, right? About, whatever, how that particular trend is going. So you're right. So far, it's like perfect.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Playing in the Four Nations face-off for Team USA, Connor Hellebuck.
How do you feel about getting a chance to play for USA?
The type of hockey it's going to be fun. There's going to be some high-pressure games. You're going to be putting your country's jersey on. You're representing your country. I think we're going to have a great fan base around us. And I'm really looking forward to what it brings.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. From in the crease to in the locker room.
Four Nations Team Canada face-off associate GM Jim Nill. You as a manager view goaltending going into the tournament in February.
Now, we're talking about two of the guys that won Stanley Cups and play in those type of pressure games. That's a pretty good resume to have. So we're pretty confident with it and pretty confident with the team that we're going to have playing in front of them.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Avalanche General Manager Chris McFarland. What went in to maybe change that duo in goal?
You know, with the work of our scout, Wedgwood's experience, he was a veteran guy. He's been through the grind. We were very bullish on McKenzie, and when the opportunity came to add him, we just felt it was the right move for us, long term.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Devils head coach Sheldon Keefe, you decided to jump right back into it.
New Jersey Devils reached out really within an hour or so of the news coming out of him being let go. And the more I got to know Tom and his vision for the team and seeing the situation, it was a tremendous opportunity that I couldn't let pass by.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Ray Hudson here with an important announcement. You can listen to your favourite Sirius XM FC shows on the all-new Sirius XM app, now available for all subscribers.
Olsen Canadian Leafs Hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Nyes will step off the wall, and now Matthews gathers it up at the blue line. Nyes out front, over the shoulder. Matthew Nyes restores the 2-goal lead.
And it remains, or it is, 3-1 for Toronto over Tampa after 40 minutes of play. It remains that way because that's where Nyes put it at 19:37 of the second period. TSN After 40 is brought to you by 241 Pizza. Give yourself a high five. Buy any large traditional pizza. Get up to 3 medium one-topping pizzas for $5 each. 241pizza.com. Jim Taddy and former NHLer Anthony Stewart with you live from Scotiabank Arena. I want to tell you, Anthony, that those are two timely goals the Leafs got there because they really needed them, didn't they?
They absolutely did, and that was one of those periods where they were lucky to come up with a lead because they could easily have been down 2-1 or 3-2, but Woll just had another great period. Leafs were outshot 12-8, but big saves on Woll. By Woll on Kucherov, Anisimov, Gergensen, Kucherov again. And yes, he got beat on the one on the tip by Nick Paul there too, but Toronto found a way to make a play. And the big guns have been sort of carrying the mail the last couple weeks here. And a great play by Matthews getting it to Marner on the line, who just put a little bit of a shovel pass into an area for Matthew Nyes. And he's displaying his quick hands, which, he's turning into a top power forward amongst the league. So if I'm Toronto, I'm writing lucky on the board, and we have to find a way to bring it home because what you don't want to do is waste an effort that Woll is really performing at a high level tonight. So through 40 minutes, not their best hockey. They got outplayed in that second period, but I'm happy up 3-1 going into the third if I'm the Maple Leafs.
Well, when it was 1-1, I turned you and said it could be 3-1 in either direction, and it headed in the Leafs direction. What Tampa is able to do is they've had 3 or 4 plays where there's net front, and there's a pass out in front, and Woll makes the save. Now, on the goal, there was net front, but it was a shot from outside that was, deflected in
but they do have the opportunity there. So I don't know how the Leafs could stop that from happening.
Yeah, they're a very good team that, you know, they take what's given to them, right? And they do a good job with their entries and turning up and really stretching out that zone. On that goal, they went D to D, and then they hit the outside flank who just put it on the net. And they have layers to the net. So they play the game the right way. It's not, yes, they have the talent of the Kucherovs and the points that could come in and get you off the rush, but they're almost methodical with their approach. Hey, let's enter, let's get a couple cycle plays. They're not afraid to crash the net and get their hands a little bit dirty there too. But Toronto did a good job matching their energy. They capitalized on a turnover for Riley springing Nylander to make it 2-1 there too. Right. So I think for Toronto, just do a good job, try to clog the neutral zone, manage this puck going into the third period, and don't take any unnecessary chances, because this is the one team you don't want to do it against.
Yeah, and the one thing I will say is both those goals are like that, where the Leafs are able to go down the ice and get something. The Nylander play was just a roof raiser here. I mean, he just broke in, and because of the way he's played the last couple of games, you're looking at it and going, what's he going to do? And boom, it's in the net.
And I see the points bet sign, and I'm not a betting man, but I wonder what the over-under is in the line for breakaways a game that he's going to get. It just seems like he's got 1 or 2 every single game. And again, one of the smartest players, and just sort of knowing when to turn on the jets and when to, burst in and out of little seams there too. And great heads-up play by Riley, just putting it in an area there too. So I think for Toronto, just capitalize on the mistakes, because down 3-1, Tampa Bay has got to take a little bit more chances, a little bit more risk in trying to get back into this game. But good job with discipline. That's another thing, knock on wood, going to the third. You do not want to now give up, 2 or 3 power plays going into this final frame here. So it could have gone either way, but Toronto just seems to have a little bit of luck on their side right now, a little bit of that fighting Irish luck. Shout out to Joe Bowen right now watching that game. And, through 40 minutes, not bad at all for these Maple Leafs team.
I got to admit, when you're facing a team that has a 27% power play, if you could stay out of the box, that's a big plus. And they've been able to do that. I don't think there was anything even close to a penalty there.
No, and I could tell just based on their urgency in retrieving pucks. You saw Tanev one time really race to get back, because what you don't want to do is play catch-up with these guys in your defensive zone. They're heavy, they twist, they turn. You saw Nick Paul get it on the forecheck, so they're not hooking, they're not trying to chip guys down. They're really using their feet. The D are using their feet to try to gain physical advantage or gain a little bit, body positioning here. So they're playing a great disciplined game. But again, as you told me last segment, it's not over. It's not over because we were like, okay, Tampa Bay's coming, it's coming. Yeah. And if they didn't get that bounce, they easily could have, tied it or gone ahead in that period.
Well, the one thing you give them credit for is when the puck's in the Leaf zone, they know exactly what to do. So it just didn't happen for them in that period. But if they continue on, I don't know where this could go. The Leafs have some work to do here.
Yeah, and, for them, I would continue just to, get pucks below the dot. You saw Matthew Nice fighting to get to the net. You saw Domi get involved. I'd like to see the fourth line with a little bit more ice there, too. Because, again, fatigue's going to set in, whether it's before this Four Nations break or after. You need to try to get your fourth line into, 10, 11 minutes. And I know that's hard when, you got so many guys that command, 20 minutes plus. But Tampa Bay, again, it's a top-heavy team. I would really manage who you're throwing over the boards, especially on D-zone faceoffs, because this game is not over based on Tampa Bay. They can put up 2, 3, 4 in a period, with this talent they have up front.
It seemed to me, I was just looking at the times that they double-shifted Nylander from time to time.
He said he wants more ice. The big dog's got to eat. And when he plays with pace, right, and that's the one thing I noticed, he's playing with a lot of pace. He's pushing the pace. He's getting in on the forecheck, using his body. But he's a threat. He is a threat. He is one bounce away at any given moment to turn the game over. And, you can see that by his energy and getting some of these breakaways. So, yes, he's been known to sort of have shifts where it's not as exciting. But these last 2 weeks, he's really, really elevated his game where he's driving his line. So I think for him, it doesn't matter who he's playing with as of late. He's the driver. And when you have a player that's sort of pushing the pace a little bit like that, it's easy to throw him over the boards for an extra couple shifts a period.
And when you watch the video of him scoring that goal, it's not going to impress upon you that it's full speed and he's looking up. So he sees what's open and buries it.
Yeah, and it's almost like just the middle of the net where it's like, okay, am I going to choose wicket 1 or wicket 2 and go over the pad there too? And He just needs an inch, and he can take a mile. And again, when you have that much speed and you have the ability to get it up low, he's a top-end talent, 100%.
3-1 Leafs over Tampa after 40 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
The Subaru winter has arrived. The crisp air and negative temperatures mean one thing: camping. Emerge from your icy tent and bask in 4 to 6 hours of sunlight. Enjoy the unmistakable smell of campfire through the glacial wind pummeling your face. Relax by the water, taking in the soothing sounds of thick ice cracking and popping. Get out there in winter like it's summer with standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and advanced safety systems. Visit your local Subaru dealer today.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuss shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Breaking story from Alpine News Network. Jan owns a home and a restaurant fusing French and Mexican cuisine. But she is fusing no more because her ovens have gone kaput. She called Alpine Credits, who sent their speedy superhero. With her business loan approved, her ovens were quickly fixed. The hero even had some of her poutine nachos. Yum! Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
This ad isn't funny or overly clever. There's no jingle, witty banter, or talk of some sort of clearance sale. Because like heart disease and stroke, which claim a life every 5 minutes, this message is deadly serious. At Heart and Stroke, we're funding and discovering medical breakthroughs to keep you and your loved ones alive. But we need all the help we can get. Go to heartandstroke.ca today. And together, we'll beat heart disease, beat stroke, and beat as one.
Hey, it's Brian Hayes, and I've got to tell you why Planet Fitness works for me, and I know it will work for you. First and foremost, it's safe, clean, and a breeze to get in and out of because I use the Planet Fitness mobile app. And with most gyms being open 24/7 and the crowd meter feature on the app, I can work out on my schedule, not the gym schedule. So sign up today at planetfitness.ca or pop into any of the dozens of locations throughout the GTA and get back in the gym at Planet Fitness.
With MSC Cruises, discover big on a mini getaway or treat yourself to a week-long vacation. For a limited time, book now and enjoy up to 35% off cruises, plus kids sail free. Sail to the turquoise waters of the Bahamas with stops at our private island, Ocean Key MSC Marine Reserve, or experience the beauty of the Caribbean and more destinations. MSC Cruises, for a greater beauty. To book, visit msccruises.com or contact your travel advisor. Restrictions apply. Ships registered in Panama and Malta.
Oh, yes, guy. The out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. You don't have to go out of town for a great new Tundra RAV4 gas or hybrid. Maple Toyota has them in stock and ready to deliver. Visit mapletoyota.com. Here's what we have. Third period, Islanders 3-1 over the Jackets. The Jackets will be here on Wednesday night. And in the end of the first period, Chicago 2-0 over the Canes. These are done. Bruins 6-3 over the Sharks. Wild 3-1 over the Avs. Kraken 6-4 over the Sabres. And the Blues 5-4 over the Golden Knights in a shootout. Getting set to start at 9:30. Jets in Utah. Well, it's past 9:30 now, so they're about to go. And the Penguins in L.A. against the Kings. In our game, 3-1 for the Leafs over the visiting Tampa Bay Lightning. Oh, yes, guy, the third period is next. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
The heartthrobs. And the hair. The bad girls. And the boy bands. Plus guitars. Lots of guitars. Oh, and the original MTV VJs.
Mark Goodman, Nita Blackwood, and myself, Alan Hunter.
If it was big in the 80s, it's on 80s on 8. And listen at home on Alexa, Google Home, smart TVs, and everywhere on the SiriusXM app.
The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Avalanche General Manager Chris McFarland. What went in to maybe change that duo in goal?
You know, with the work of our scout, Wedgwood's experience, he was a veteran guy. He's been through the grind. We were very bullish on McKenzie, and when the opportunity came, add him, we just felt it was the right move for us, long term.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Devils head coach Sheldon Keefe, you decided to jump right back into it.
New Jersey Devils reached out really within an hour or so of the news coming out of him being let go. And the more I got to know Tom and his vision for the team and seeing the situation, it was a tremendous opportunity that I couldn't let pass by.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Ray Hudson here with an important announcement. You can listen to your favorite Sirius XM FC shows on the all-new Sirius XM app, now available for all subscribers.
The third period is imminent here at Scotiabank Arena as the Leafs hold a 3-1 lead. A solid second period, a hockey second period. It offered some exciting moments and then suddenly broke itself open a little past the halfway mark.
Yeah, now the Leafs want to get back to what we saw for long stretches where teams' inability to make plays. I mean, there were a lot of turnovers, and I know we talked about this, that it's been a game where you keep thinking, oh, that was close. That was almost, and we're talking almost great chances, not goals. And, then obviously you see the Leafs with 2 breakaway goals in this game, and then the passing play off the wing, orchestrated by Mitch Marner to Matthew Nyes to restore the Leafs' 2-goal lead. But I guess from a Leafs standpoint, stay out of the penalty box. Don't wake up the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa's still got the firepower, but they haven't been sharp in this game, and the Leafs have hopefully are going to be able to take advantage of that again here in the third.
Well, Todd Crocker along with Jim Ralph filling in for Joe Bowen, who is involved in a football game. Well, I don't think he's playing, but no.
Maybe they should throw him in.
I don't know. I haven't looked at the score, but it doesn't seem to be going the right direction.
21-7, Ohio State was the last. Let's see.
This face-off is brought to you by Alpine Credits. Do you own your own home and need a loan? Alpine Credits can help. Get approved at alpinecredits.ca. As we get underway, and then immediately a whistle just 6 seconds in.
Tampa, this is the 14th time this season they've trailed after the second period, 2-10-1. Their record when trailing after 2, and the Leafs when leading after 2 are a perfect 19-0 this season. But they're going to be tested here against Tampa.
They are setting up to the right and the Lightning to the left here for the third period as Marner sends it behind the goal. Nice, trying to race after that. Marner cuts it off as he gave it a bit of a kick. They don't play that sewer ball for no reason at all. Matthews, some open ice there in the Leafs zone as McMahon plays it along. Now Tanev right back into the corner, far side, and stepping out and lifting it into center. Looking for McMahon was Marner. Tossing it right back, Radish, who had the shot that led to the goal, the Tampa goal. Right back, McMahon. He skated by there. He thought to get back to it, but now we're going to see Point. He got hooked, and a penalty coming up here to the Leafs as Holmberg is going to go to the box. Point cuts in, tries to drag it toward the goal, and It is knocked down, and a hooking call going to be handed out here, and this is exactly where you don't want to start this game going in that direction.
I should have shut up. Talking about don't take any penalties, and yeah, this was a Braden Point forces a turnover right at the Leaf blue line.
29, 2 minutes for hooking.
And when Point gets away from him, it was more of a reaction than anything else from Holmberg. You lose the puck, and you see Point about to take off, and it might have been a good penalty to take, but he had Nick Paul going to the net.
Yeah, sometimes you look at some of those penalties and you try to project what might happen next, but the zone is already going to be overloaded here, and they've got two guys on the glove side of Joseph Wall. Not saying you could necessarily play the odds, but if you're playing the odds, you take the penalty, I suppose. And Holmberg did exactly that, and I don't think he maybe investigated just how good this power play can be. Here it comes, leaning in, and a big shot there from Kucherov, and it comes back the other way. Here's Marner after it. The crowd thought for sure he would be able to recapture that and create an opportunity.
Yeah, just got away from him a little too far ahead, but it's a great thing about having Mitch Marner in the penalty kill. You get that one moment, you can bury again the other end.
Here's Point down the right side as he gives up possession of the puck, and back the other way it goes. The crowd grumbling a little bit.
Tampa's 4 for 8 in the power play in the last 2 games coming in.
That'll lift the numbers. I'm no mathematician. I haven't got an abacus on me 24/7, but that's pretty good. Kucherov over to the far side. Radich will get it back. Out front it comes. Centered, but no contact as it comes right back up high. Boy, they move it crisp, I'll tell you that. And a shot there that does not quite fire the way they want. Mitchell Chaffee was out front as they dig it out of the corner, or trying to dig it out of the corner. It does come loose. It saucers back, and a shot out front and knocked down and into the corner. And Camp was going to send that one the distance, but recognized there was not really a route to send it. Cutting into the middle of it. He steals it away now and then just lifts it down the ice, allowing all 4 to change out and a new 4 to step in.
Camp got caught in Montreal on the penalty kill. Took a little too much time at his own blue line to clear it out. The Canadians went right back, and Patrick Laine scored in the power play. So you would like to see him, even if you can't get it out, at least do whatever you can a little quicker.
You know, somebody's worked on the things that go wrong from indecisiveness, and it stays in. Boy, I thought that was getting out of the ballpark.
I was with you.
Here's Holmberg out of the penalty box. Tries to get a shot away, but Lilleberg does a pretty good job of keeping it off. Now Matthews behind the goal, and he tries to lift it over lacrosse style. But Johansson comes up with the save.
That was the Michigan, wasn't it?
It was.
And give Johansson credit. He reads it, and he gets that right shoulder up high on the crossbar.
Banking off of McCabe. At the line, it is offside.
Boy, and the Leafs are lucky it's offside. This puck was thrown to the front of the net, and Nick Paul was in behind everyone.
Austin Matthews having a little bit of a smile about this one.
Yeah, it was a rolling puck, and he picks it up on edge, and there was no room. Johansson, I mean, this is, you talk about taking this top part of the net away. This is the video goalie should watch.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he was able to see Matthews over his left shoulder get the puck on edge on a stick. So he knew it was coming. And I think that's why, going to his right, when he knew Matthews was coming around, he had to get up, get big, and seal off that top corner.
It's good to be 6'5".
Yes. I'm not sure. Some of the other, even UC Saros is 5'11", might have had a little trouble getting up that high. In the butterfly, especially.
Well, Mitten is in a bit of a tangle there, but it comes out and back down the ice. Sliding wide, it is. They're going to pick it up for icing and bring it all the way back. When we talk about confidence, and there's there's that level of confidence when you're playing well, but then there's a level of confidence when you'll try something like that. And that is a next level off the charts confidence. You can't measure that.
Yeah, well, and especially when you see the puck rolling. Usually your first notion is I got to settle it down. And Matthews says, wait, puck's doing half the work for me. It's already on edge.
The old razzle-dazzle. Knocked out of the pile there by Geekie as it comes up along the near side. I don't think McMahon saw that one was coming back out, and Holmberg backs up with it. And then Chaffee down the right side, cuts back, wants the crew to file in behind him. Lilleberg into the corner. Touch there by Tanev to try and shake it loose out of the tree. Whoa. A spill, awkward, but nonetheless, everyone gets right back up. Long shot. Grabbed up. We'll push into the corner, and a little bit of separation allows the Leafs to get it up to center. Herbeck's able to keep it right back in. They get after it quick, but Tanev able to hang on to it. And Camp works down the right side. McMahon was heading to the bench, and he allowed Camp a little room to move. Right back up to the blue line. It finds its way out. Now Radish lifts it back in, a swipe at it, sends it down deep, and Morgan Riley recovers it behind Joseph Wall. He steps out his glove side. Comes to the red line and then sends it down deep. Johansson plays this one, and Radish will get it back. Off the half boards and cross ice he goes. 6 minutes off the clock here in period number 3. Lifted into the far corner. Marner, little tap off the wall, finds Nyes as he eases it along to Austin Matthews. Radish right back in as they turn it around, and a nice feed cross ice, but Cirelli couldn't do much with that one based on distance. They hand it right back over to Marner, who makes a nice little move along to Nyes. Here comes Matthews, drives it to the goal, and it's low off the pads as it comes below the goal line. Asking for help, gets it, fed out front. Here's Camp on his backhand, walks it back to the blue line, and then feeds it down low, stick side. He'll go after it himself. The Lightning get it right back out into center and lift it in as they make a change. 7 minutes have ticked away here in period number 3. The Leafs up 3-1. Lightning pressing, but the Leafs getting their chances as Camp sends it into the corner. They cycle back out. Nylander back up high and to the goal. That one hits the back of Lorentz as it comes right back to Benoit. He shovels it into the corner. Nylander there to pick it up. And he wanted, I think, to get that one to Benoit, but it found itself in the feet and right back through the middle. Nylander trying to pick it up one more time. Lorentz has that taken away from him, but he works to get it back. Herbeck is able to convince it down into the corner. Near side, stepping out front of the goal. Tense moment there for some folks who edge toward their seats, and Robertson takes a swipe at it. Picked up off the wall and right back the other way. A little bit of speed attached as Gensel drops that one back. Shot right on, and a little bit of distance allowed Joseph Wall to see that and hang on.
Yep, followed it right into his body. And speaking of goaltenders, just notice Andrei Vasilevsky is not on the Tampa Bay bench. Backup goaltender.
Oh.
It's a little interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little curious because I think everybody kind of thought he would start. But
wonder if he's watching the football game.
We shall see. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network.
Just 2 matches remain in the league phase of the UEFA Champions League, and all the drama is on Sirius XM FC.
Antoine Griezmann has done it in the most dramatic style.
action continues in Madrid, where Atletico look to punch their ticket to the knockout stage with a win over the ever-tough Bayer Leverkusen.
Florian Wirtz has bent on the beauty.
Atletico versus Leverkusen, Tuesday at 3 Eastern on Sirius XM FC, channel 157 in the car and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
I think general managers must sit back in their chairs, Gord, and they must say, okay, if we make a coaching change here, chances are that at least for 10 games, we're more than competitive, and we're probably going to win much more than we lose.
Coaches are probably yelling an expletive, right? About, whatever, how that particular trend is going. So you're right. So far, it's like perfect.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.